and your children are turned into mindless vassals who now they look up to some twit instead of looking up to Thomas Jefferson or looking up to Nikola Tesla or looking up to Magellan. I mean, kids, Magellan's a lot cooler than Justin Bieber. He circumnavigated with one ship the entire planet. He was killed by wild natives before they got back to Portugal. And when they got back, there was only...
But why? $22 million in 3 fucking hours! There is no nobility in poverty. I have been a rich man and I have been a poor man, and I choose rich every fucking time. The real question is this: was all this legal? Absolutely fucking not. Neither go towards the feeding grounds at the edge of the ice, nor return to the colony. Shortly afterwards, we saw him heading straight towards the mountains, some 70 kilometers away. Dr. Ainley explained that even if he caught him and brought him back to the colony, he would immediately head right back for the mountains. But why?
What's your dream? To go away.
To go away. That's right.
Do you guys want to drink? I don't understand why everybody has to be so judgmental. I understand why mom's judgmental. I think it's because she cares partially. And it's also partially because everyone else is looking at her like, hey, Cody's just a bum. Cody's this, Cody's that, Cody's this. Cody's me, bro. Let me be me.
GMCG, everyone. Welcome to Friday, 11:30 a.m. A little bit of an earlier start today. We have an absolute legend, Duncan Flood Capital, coming on, who will be running through some of his top picks that he's put out on the timeline recently. He is a viral figure, a friend of mine, and someone who worked at Delphi Digital and has a tremendous experience with on-chain derivative contracts, whether that be the DeFi perpetuals of 2022 or Hyperliquid, as well as a new play that he's really excited about in Synapse, which is an OG project from back in the day, who is releasing on-chain options contracts. And so really excited to dig into that project. As well as you guys know, of course, Duncan is more well known, I think, for more of his Galaxy Digital thesis and calls. Back at the IPO, when Galaxy first rolled out on the NASDAQ, Duncan and I ran a stream. Galaxy was around these prices, so we're a bit flat from that time, which is a little bit crazy in my opinion, as I think Galaxy is super undervalued. But yeah, I will be excited to reconnect with Duncan and hear what he's looking at. Ave, how you doing? Good to see you and good to have you on the show. As you guys know, I've been on vacation for a couple of weeks, and now we are back in action. We did the EZA live stream, but other than that, my guys, Chill and Dom, were leading the show. Can you talk about Sin and DRV or verse DRV? Yes, we'll talk about Sin for sure. DRV's actually been on MCG. It was a popular show we had like 3 months ago, I believe, with Kate. Really good episode. Another OG protocol, I believe it was called Lyra Finance back in the day. Of course, I used to work for a project called Mycelium / TracerDAO, which is one of the early derivative or on-chain perp competitors. So I know a lot about this early DeFi derivative space, and it's come a long way, obviously. Negatively around Sin, especially since Arthur Hayes is in the trade, never a good sign. Well, we'll talk about it because I'm eager to hear the thesis. Of course, the Arthur Hayes, a bit of a reputation with around cards as well. What else he was in? WorldCoin. But he was in Hyperliquid, guys. He gave you guys Hyperliquid at literally the stone cold bottom. So, I mean, can't hate on Arthur. That's where my hype trade. I sold all my ETH for hype, literally at $26. Rode that to 72. One of my best trades to date. It was awesome. Of course, you guys saw that on the timeline and in Discord. All right, I'm gonna get Duncan up here, and we're gonna get right into it. My guy, Duncan, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. How are you feeling, bro?
Good.
How you
I'm getting an
feeling?
IV right now.
Yeah.
Hopefully this will breathe some life into me.
All right. What's going on? What's going on in your life?
Not much. Just we're taking Sin to 10 billion.
Sin to 10 billion. I got it. What are your thoughts on the markets? Maybe we'll start there. I mean, you were big on Galaxy, and then there was a bit of a Duncan break
Galaxy's
on the
ridiculously
timeline.
cheap. Galaxy's just insanely cheap right now.
Yeah, do you want to do a quick Galaxy thing, and then we'll focus on Sin?
Sure.
Yeah,
do you want to pull up the charter, or do you want me to riff here?
Yeah, just riff.
Yeah, I mean, so Galaxy, they have their 800 megawatts at Helios. It's contracted out to CoreWeave. It's going to bring them in like $1 billion of EBITDA a year, basically. Super high margin, consistent business. That's contracted out with CoreWeave, and then they got 830 megawatts approved earlier this year, which they're looking to lease out. Novograd's kind of mentioned that they wanted to get that done by July 4th. So I think that's happening soon. If not July 4th, he said for sure by the end of the summer. And so that's 1.6 gigawatts in one single campus. And then they just announced, they didn't actually publicly announce it, but it came out through like these other public filings that they've acquired a site kind of near SpaceX in Texas that I think could be up to a 500 megawatt site. It's also named Merlin, which is the same as like the SpaceX engines. So maybe SpaceX is going to start cranking out some engines like jet or like rocket engines to power data centers, which would be a pretty epic partnership. And like the SpaceX connection was because SpaceX apparently was like at some meetings with Galaxy in the town. And I'm like, design the building so it wouldn't be too loud. But basically what I think the bullish catalyst for Galaxy is right now on the data center front is signing this next 830 megawatts. And I think something that could really surprise the market is them renegotiating the credit on the first 800 megawatts with CoreWeave. So like, I think Microsoft is the current end tenant for that first 800 megawatts. So let's say Microsoft wants the next 800 as well, because Galaxy's like proven they can, execute. They execute on the first 200 megawatts on time and on budget. Also, is there a link I can retweet for this, Josh?
Yes, I sent it in our DMs there.
Could you just send me a tweet, or could I go to your Twitter and retweet it? Oh, I see. Awesome. Reposting. Tune in for generational.
Jenny trades.
Yeah, so basically, I think the really bullish catalyst here would be if they, like Microsoft wants this next 800 megawatts, so then they come up with a deal where they essentially renegotiate the credit on the first 800 megawatts plus sign the next 800, and then that would be like a huge re-rating. Like the stock price, I think, would literally double off that in like a week.
Yeah, Can I ask
It's
you a question
insanely cheap
about the
right now.
Meta FUD? So Meta came out saying that they're going to build their own data centers, creating their own kind of like neo cloud, if you will, or to compete with the neo cloud providers. Do you think that's just, and it seems the stock is sold off because of that. I don't know if that's true or not. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, it doesn't really affect Galaxy because Galaxy has the most scarce asset in this whole flow, which is the power. And the honestly hugely underrated point that I think the market is just kind of asleep at the wheel on is that Galaxy built the first 200 megawatts on time and on budget, and they have like 1,500 beds at Helios now to crank out, and they've to crank out the next 600 megawatts and then the following 800 megawatts, and they have like hired the number one contractor in the country. So, like, they're just firing on all cylinders and executing exactly what they said they would. They're actually speeding up their timelines. And I just think, like, in the next 6 months, like, I bought $800,000 worth of calls. I'm down on them. I bought them like a week ago. But for September expiry, because I think once this announcement happens, it's just going to go bananas.
On Galaxy. And you think what, like, so we've thrown out previous price targets, 3 figures, so like 100 plus.
Yeah.
Have you
100
revised?
within 18 months, I think. It's reasonable.
Okay, and that's solely based on the data center businesses, which is
Yeah, and I
the
think like
next
I'm getting more bullish crypto. I'm getting more bullish crypto here. And if the Clarity Act passes, and it seems like they're getting into tokenization a lot more, and there's a lot of tailwinds there as well, I think.
Yeah, it seems like the crypto business is almost like free in the market cap right now. And yes,
Yeah,
I am
it's
getting
Galaxy is actually like disgustingly cheap. I'm trying to raise a fund right now, trying to raise $1 billion. Saudi's bidding. Ship that right into Galaxy.
Yeah, please bid. I would love that. That would be great. Okay, so just to wrap up on Galaxy, like I think it's well documented all the content you've done on the data center side, the crypto business, all that kind of stuff. I think the 1,500 beds you mentioned, that's the workforce that's working on the data center, and of course, Galaxy Digital, they have pinned on their website, like, or on their X handle, one of the videos of the data center being completed. The first 133 megawatts has been energized and given to CoreWeave, which is generating revenue. Just in your kind of words, like the next 18 months, what kind of milestones do you think we're going to see? I don't know if I still have you there, Duncan. Duncan, are you with us? Oh, we're coming back to life. All right, guys. I think losing Flood Capital a little bit. We're getting some lag on Duncan here. I'm going to see if he can reset his setup, and we'll try and get him back. Because I want this intake. I want this intake. The legend. He's also on the road a little bit today. I believe he said he was getting an IV, so I hope he's okay. And I know that he is definitely gonna want to talk about these projects. Okay, we got him back. All right, here we go.
It's all right.
Duncan, we need to give you
rocking
Starlink.
We're rocking the hotspot right now.
Okay. All right, we're going from hospital Wi-Fi to hotspot. Hopefully that's a little more productive. All right, my question, Duncan, to you was just, it's well documented, your takes on Galaxy, the 500 megawatt new data center that they're potentially building near SpaceX, as well as the Helios site, 133 megawatts delivered, energized to CoreWeave this year. Just in terms of the other milestones, you talk about an 18-month timeline into next year. What kind of, just going through those milestones at the top of your head, what dates and months should people kind of put on a calendar to watch for?
Yeah, well, I think the earnings is going to be in August of this year, and then hopefully they'll announce the second tenant and a renegotiation of the credit on the first 800 megawatts. And then hopefully we'll get more details on Merlin, their new data center campus, and like where they are at in approvals for like the remaining 1.8 gigawatts or 1.9 gigawatts they have at Helios.
Is that to take it to the 3.6 total?
Yeah.
Okay. And this would be
Which they
the
could
largest.
also probably expand more.
Yeah, please.
No, they could also probably expand Helios more.
Yeah, to like 5, because the Stargate
mean, like-
project, I believe, by OpenAI was up to 5.
Yeah, just like all these people are throwing out bullshit numbers. It's like, let's see you actually build it, which Galaxy's doing. So I think it's just going to take a little bit of time for the market to appreciate it.
Okay. Clarity Act oscillates in terms of the probability of that passing. I know we mentioned, I think it's a big catalyst for the stock as well. Your thoughts on Clarity, if it's happening this summer?
I don't really know, but I mean, I think they're going to pass it eventually. I just don't know exactly when.
Okay. That I tend to agree. All right. Do you want to flip to Synapse then?
Sure. So maybe if you pull out my article.
I am, going to grab it for you.
Thank you, Josh.
I got you.
King Streamer.
Hey, the stream's grown a lot since the first one you were on, which has been, and we've streamed
I like the new
basically
rebrand here.
Yeah, we've streamed every day, basically since you've been on. All right, here. Sorry, I'm just trying to had it pinned, but then I've lost it. Also, your disclosure is not associated with Thinking USD, right?
Yeah. He got mad at me, so I had to put that in there.
I mean, it's pretty funny. Okay, here we go. I got your Sin Summer article up. All right, let's go. I like the branding here. First off, how did you come across this trade?
It's not a trade, Josh. It's a generational investment.
Okay, start there. How you came across this?
Basically, I owned Sin back in 2021 when they were the cross-chain bridge. They did like 55 billion in volume, processed like 2 to 3 million addresses. Knew the team a bit then, and then basically like Layer Zero, Axelar, Nomad, all those fuckers raised like over $1 billion from VC capital and just drove margins in that business down to zero, even though like Synapse was a first mover and innovator in that space with like RFQ bridging and all this stuff. So yeah, that's how I originally came across them. Then one of the founders like was fucking around pretty hard and pissed off a lot of large holders. And then there's some like lawsuit, which really slowed them down. Like these guys had the original idea for Hyperliquid. They were building Hyperliquid themselves. And then this whole lawsuit shit happened. So that guy's like fully out. And the other co-founder, Aurelius BTC, now works at OpenAI and is like helping out a bit. And then the third guy, Trajan, Jake, he essentially like locked in like 12 months ago looking for a business that had like a really good moat, which, you know, their bridge business kind of got fucked from all this VC money coming into the space. And so he kind of came across Deribit, which I don't know if you've ever used Deribit, but it's a pretty shit product. They only have 7 assets listed and you need a math degree to trade on there. And they've had like 85% market share in options for 10 years. And like Binance has tried to come at them. OKX is trying to come at them. Nobody's made a dent in their market share. And so like Jake was like, well, why? Why is this the case? This is so odd. IBIT was like the only, like, you know, the BlackRock ETF finally flipped them on BTC volumes for options. But basically like the underlying case with that is that you essentially as an options market maker need to keep collateral on. You can also pull up the site Hypercall. Could be interesting to just walk through the platform. But as an options market maker, you need to keep collateral on the platform when you write options. So if I sell like a call option 6 months out, I need to keep, collateral to pay that call option if it expires in the money on the platform. So there's essentially these perpetual handcuffs from options traders, from options market makers that happen. And that's why Deribit's been able to build up such a strong moat.
Got it. Yeah. I'm still with you if it lags a little bit. I'm still with you. This SpaceX option market has like 350K of open interests, I believe I saw, right?
Yeah, if you go on my X, you can see I've posted like the premiums traded is the key statistic you want to watch. So not on this, but I just recently posted it. I think I pinned it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the premiums traded, like they're starting to onboard options market makers right now, and like stuff's kind of going parabolic. So they just had their 2 best days by far. Really crazy growth. And then I have some other tweets I can send you a dashboard, but basically, like if they can get up to $100 million a day in premiums traded, then this thing will be doing like 200 million a year in buybacks, and that's how we get to 10 billion.
Wow.
And after that, I think like the next target is Robinhood, which is $100 billion, because this essentially allows you to trade options on any asset on Hyperliquid from anywhere in the world. And a market like India trades more notional volume in options than the US. So think about, and that's on like the shitty Indian stocks they get to trade. Think about if you gave all these people across the entire world the ability to trade options on any asset in the world, these hot AI names, everything. Like the market is just disgustingly big.
Yeah. And this is the platform here. Now, what state is this in? Like it went from a test net through May, June, I believe. And then it's recently on mainnet with 3 assets, SPY, bot, and then SpaceX. The only place to trade options on SpaceX on chain are actually here on Hypercall.
Yeah.
How does this scale from here? Like, obviously this is all pretty exciting, but you said that in your article, there's spending caps, I believe. And then we're starting to see the volume scale. Yeah. Can you talk about that a bit?
So basically, like there you had just been internally market making, but now they're starting to onboard like real professional options market makers. And as soon as that happens, then like we're going to press really hard on marketing and just get the taker flow. And then that's when it just goes completely parabolic.
Okay. And the token plays an important role in the flywheel here, obviously, in awareness. We saw like DRV's token started to perform really well. And then everyone kind of went and said, oh, what's Derive? And then like, oh, options on chain, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, it's been a great driver for Hyperliquid. In your article, you show that the market cap here is only 85 million. You've thrown out these kind of interesting price targets that are way out there. Maybe
not way out there.
Not way out there. Okay. But you mentioned a couple things. Like there's really distributed liquidity in terms of the bunch of tier 1 markets that this is listed on, like Binance, etc. A lot of daily volume.
Like the thing about like Drive is an actual joke. They trade like 200 grand a day. People are trying to we're trading 100 million to $1 billion a day between perps and spot, and people are trying to compare to fucking Drive as 100K. Like the Drive token is uninvestable for anyone who actually trades size. And yes, they've done a decent amount of volume on chain, but basically, if you want to underwrite Drive over Sin, you have to think that their own perps market liquidity is going to be able to compete with Hyperliquid, and that they're going to win the taker flow go to market, which I promise you is not going to happen, because I'm locked in on making everyone in the world learn about this.
Yeah, I mean, you've already done a very good job of it. Really quick, how did Arthur Hayes get this on his radar? I'm assuming you sent it to him, and I don't know if you and Arthur
I mean,
friends.
One of my friends who runs a liquid fund knows Arthur well, and Arthur was like, he gets clowned for some stuff, but he was a pioneer in the space. He invented the perpetual future, which is now like what Hyperliquid uses, what Binance uses. And he understands the options market extremely well, and he sold his hype, and this is hype beta. right? Like this is a just way better way to, if you feel like you miss hype or you want to express a bullish thesis on hype, this is just a way better way because the downside is super limited and the upside is way more asymmetric.
Yeah. And you actually
and
allude to, I believe this because, so for those that don't know, when you're building an options contract or putting a position on Hypercall, you have to, if you do $10 on Hypercall, you have to have $100 of OI over on Hyperliquid or whoever the market maker is. And at least now Hyperliquid obviously has scaled to that level with all these assets. This is the big unlock, I believe, that you mentioned is why on-chain options have not taken off. Really, is
yeah,
that
because
correct?
basically before options market makers couldn't hedge their deltas effectively, right? Like was in the decentralized derivative space writing research for like 3 years at Delphi, speaking to these options market makers, looking at these venture protocols. And basically when you sell a call, like let's say I sell a call that has a delta of 0.1, which means, for every 1% move in the underlying, the call moves 10 basis points. So I sell a SpaceX call to you, SpaceX goes up 1%, my call option goes up 10 basis points, like on the notional value. As the call or as the spot price approaches my strike price, that delta moves towards 1. So essentially, the options market makers have to constantly be like increasing and decreasing their position sizes to hedge delta. And now you can do that by posting a hyperliquid perp, which they can also have on leverage. So now they can market make in an extremely effective way where they deposit capital in a hyperliquid, sell calls and puts on hypercall with portfolio margin, and then balance out their delta.
Yeah. And we know this, I mean, Dopex was doing this back in the day. And I believe CPT, was it CPT? Or there was a big firm that mentioned they had like 80% market share on
Yeah,
that
QCP,
providing
I think.
QCP. Yeah, that QCP cap. So that we know these players exist. Who is going to be market making these options?
Yeah, like I
And
don't know if it's gonna be public or not, but like
Duncan,
they're
we want to know the alpha, buddy.
they're talking to the largest options makers, market makers in the space, and some of the largest TradFi firms in the world.
Okay. And for them, what is their business model? Why would they want to work with Hypercall?
Because they can essentially sell people options and make money.
Right.
And these are unique expires that don't exist anywhere, right? Like the SpaceX Zero DTE calls, NASDAQ only offers weekly and monthly calls. You also have weekend expiries when Anthropic ChatGPT launches. They'll have options on that. This will be the only place to trade Anthropic options for like a month.
Got it.
And
You
I will
mentioned,
personally buy a plane and fly a banner over San Francisco, making sure everyone knows that.
well, you offered $25,000 to get a meeting with Steve will do it from Melk, as well as I think was it Sewell president?
Yeah, I'm just saying,
Whatever
like,
it
I
is.
think that I'm trying to set up like a podcast roadshow right now, which is in the works. But this just makes so much sense on so many levels for people who want to, share a ref link or invest in the token, or anyone who's a financially oriented audience. I think Grant Stephen would be a really awesome person to get in touch with because he's like a big Robinhood bull. And this is literally investing in the Robinhood seed round.
Yeah. I mean, this is 75, 80 mil market
Yeah,
cap.
Robinhood's 100 billion.
Yeah. Okay. So we're starting to see the uptake of this. Let's talk a little bit. This is what made Hyperliquid famous, which was their flywheel. You basically, as this gets going, there's OI, there's daily volume, fees are generated. There can be a proposal. The DAO owns the Synapse DAO basically controls the protocol by the token. There is no equity here. This is just the SYN token. That's correct.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about this
correct.
a little bit?
Yeah, so basically, given SYN was a really big token back in 2021, it reaches like nearly $1 billion market cap. It's extremely well distributed, right? So
Yes.
there's over 10,000 on-chain holders. I think CoinMarketCap estimates total holder base at 300,000. So it's extremely well distributed, and there's no equity, and so large holders can go and essentially vote to take 80 or 90% of the cash flow from the earnings of the protocol and send those to a buy and burn. And then that's going to obviously make the token go bananas. And then you're essentially airdropping all these people who got smoked in 2021 and have written off Sin to zero. Like, I have had multiple people message me like, oh my God, like Sin just popped back up in my portfolio tracker. I kind of wrote this thing off because it was at 3 cents like a few weeks ago, and now it's at 30, and we're going at $3 in my opinion, and eventually like 15, 20.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean I bought the dip. I bought the dip, Duncan, here at around 34 cents.
Yeah, I think this is a great price. I literally have been adding, like, I've been buying this thing for the last 2 weeks every day, adding exposure.
Yeah, and it recently, I mean,
I'm literally out. I'm gonna try and raise money to buy more.
Well, we love that, Duncan. I'll show the chart real quick for context, guys. This is the Sin token. Yeah, I mean, this was what, 5 mil or something, 10 mil down
And the
here.
technical setup here that made it so interesting was that basically they got a delisting notice from Binance, and like 60, like it's probably like 40, 50% of the circulating supply was on Binance. So it sold off from like 15 cents down to 3 cents, and market makers shorted it and everything. And so there was like a huge OI relative to market cap. And then the token started pumping because they released the product. And then people thought it was just like some scam delisting pump, so kept on shorting more. And then their faces just got completely ripped off, going from 3 cents to 70 cents in like 2 weeks. And now it's having like a healthy pullback, in my opinion. And I think this is an excellent entry.
Yeah, we're down here, call it 56% from the top. So there might be some good value there. Is there anything that we haven't covered in your article here? I'm just kind of like looking.
No, I just think like if listen, if you're listening to this and you have some time today, go and read the article and think about it and try out the platform. And that's all I request.
All right, there you've heard it on
Crypto Jones. Why not put it on the credit card? I'm calling the bank right now for a line of credit.
Yeah, I mean, there you go. I love that. Why would Hyperliquid? This is a good question. What if Hyperliquid launches native options platform? Like, why wouldn't?
Well, so yeah, that's a great question. And Trajan, the CTO of Synapse and Hypercall, has really thoughtful answer for this. But basically, the reason that is kind of not in line with Hyperliquid's roadmap is because like their nodes are already maxed out right now. And if you think about what an options chain is, right? Like if I list, daily expires on BTC for the next month, that's 30 different expiries, and then each of those have hundreds of order books. So you're talking about like, let's say 300 order books you're adding on just BTC option. So you're talking about like one, and then also like you have to refresh your quotes in real time, and it's more volatile because like this is leverage on the underlying. So you'd be talking about 1,000x increase in throughput for Hyperliquid nodes while they're trying to centralize, which is just kind of impossible right now.
Yeah, I agree with that. I want to talk about that non-liquidatable thing because this is 1010 crushed a lot of people, I think. Don't want to remind anyone of that, but
no, like I knew a lot of people who just got completely cleaned out on 1010 because they had like super low leverage positions on. They just didn't think the money was at risk at all. And this is like the most famous retail trade in the world, Roaring Kitty taking $10,000 to 8 million on GME calls. And if he used any level of leverage, he would have got liquidated. Like the beauty of call options is that you set your strike, you add your premium to that, and you have your time frame. And if the trade plays out in that time frame, you make money. It's very intuitive and easy to understand. Yes, there's another side of it where you need a math degree to fucking understand them, but there's this very intuitive, easy side. That's why I think options have exploded when Robinhood made it super easy to use. Like the growth of options has been like 500% since Robinhood launched, and it's Robinhood's largest P&L line item. So I think it's very easy for people to understand, and it's a way superior product to perps. Like I know a lot of people who've gone broke trading perps because you just add more leverage, you add more collateral, you can post all this sort of shit as collateral. 10-10, like you wick down, you get scam wicked out of your position. Whereas with options, it's very defined risk. I know exactly, like, it just needs to be above this price by this date. The only
Yeah.
thing that I would recommend if you're an option trader to understand if you're getting into this is implied volatility. So the more volatile the underlying asset you're trading is, the more expensive the call or the put's going to be, right? Because like if something swings 10% a day, it's going to be more expensive. That is like kind of the only arguable like thing where it's like, okay, maybe perps are better because sometimes you're paying a lot for volatility. But I mean, like, I think that if you look at the chart and be like, I think it's gonna be above this by this date, you select a strike and a premium that's appropriate for that. It's way easier to express a bullish or bearish view on something than trading perps, and way less likely you're gonna blow up. Like the churn on perps is insane.
Yeah, it's predatory almost.
Yeah, like
worked in
I've never shilled a ref link for perps because I think it's how you go broke. Like it's like one step removed from gambling. Whereas like with options, I think it's actually a really awesome tool for you to express market views, and you can do it in a responsible way. And
yeah.
I've made a shit ton of money on options, like millions of dollars on options, and I've lost money on perps. Perps suck.
All right,
Right?
hypercall is the way. You're making a very compelling argument. Dom has a question here. Back to these stats. What's the best way to gauge adoption? I mean, I kind of went
Yeah.
to the different product
I mean,
markets.
I've made this dashboard. I'm gonna try and make it public. I've just been really busy. But you know, I continue to publish daily updates on that. But you can also just like check out the stat. I'm gonna try and publish this dashboard soon.
Yeah, and you can go to the individual markets, guys, and kind of see the OI and volume changes. I mean, when I first look at and you sent it to me, I was like, there was like $500 of whatever OI. I was like, okay, this is kind of early, I guess. But
It
then I
just can
looked at it.
scale so quickly.
Yeah, because it scaled to 350K. And then I don't know what these two little wicks are
Yeah,
here.
yeah. The premiums trade is the most crucial part of this because essentially they take fees on that number. So this is how much money's actually being exchanged hands on the platform.
Got it. And how much is what's their fee model like? 10 bips.
So right
like
now it's the
perps,
same
or?
as Deribit, which
Okay.
is 2 bips, 2.5, or yeah, 2 bips taker, 5 bips taker, 2 bips maker, but on notional, right? And that's capped at 12.5% of the premium. But like if I'm buying 0 DTE SpaceX calls and getting effective 50x leverage, then they're essentially charged me 10% of the premium. So if I bet $100, I'm paying $10 in fees, but I have 50x leverage on non-liquidatable calls that aren't available anywhere else in the world.
Yeah, that's wild. Okay, anything last thing on Synapse? I'll let you we'll wrap here. And I had a couple other plays bought and DMG.
Yeah, Roa strategy I think is just a complete movie if you want to get exposed to humanoids. They like Andrew Kang is a legitimate beast. They've increased their NAV 2.5x in the past 3 weeks. I just invested a bunch of money into their pipe. I think that this is a good price. I personally bought higher. I did a good investment at $10 last year, and then I bought more at 35. I think this is a good price. I'm extremely bullish on them. They own Figure, Uptronic, Dyna, Standard Bots. Like some of the top robotics companies in the US are all in their portfolio, and they have excellent relationships with all the teams. And they're raising, hundreds of millions of dollars to invest more in these companies. And I think it's like this is going to be the next leg of like the AI super cycle. It's going to be robotics. And I think that this is like the cleanest way to express that view.
What's the NAV on 35 here?
Maybe 15 or something. They just published an update on their Twitter.
Yeah, Andrew Kang is a beast. I mean, he's like he was a main character for some time. Okay.
Yeah, he's billionaire mode.
Yeah. What do you think this could get to? I mean, you put some Galaxy 100 plus Synapse. We have $18 billion market cap from 70
Okay,
mil
the
today.
NAV is 1050 per share, and they started at 750 like 3 weeks ago.
Okay. How do they increase the NAV? Just re-rating?
Yeah, well, there's two ways. So you either, the rounds get marked up,
Yeah.
or you use the pipe. or like an ATM, like a MicroStrategy type.
Right. So you sell equity or sell something and then go buy more exposure.
And I think like I know the robotics sector really well. I raised a $12.5 million SPV last year into Uptronic, invested a few $1 million into other companies in the space, gotten to know it quite well. And like these guys are just the best in the space in terms of investors. And I look through the portfolio. If you pull up my tweets, you can see I made another NAV model on this. And I think like Uptronic's probably going to raise at 3x next year to what they currently are. Like Dino will raise at 3x, Figure probably 2x, Standard Bots maybe up to 5x. So right there, if you just like blend an average 3x of NAV across the portfolio in 2027, then that's going from 10.50 a share to 30 a share, right? If you add in, so imagine the NAV re-rates from $10 a share to $30 a share after all these fucking dumbasses on Twitter have been flooding it. And it then keeps its 200% premium. You're now trading at $60. They keep on tapping the ATM. Fucking Tom Lee raised $20 billion to buy ETH.
Yeah.
Right? Tapping the ATM. These guys, I think, could crush that. And then you're like $300 a share, I think in the next few years is completely reasonable. And I'm putting my money where my mouth is. It's like my third largest position and I want to buy more.
You mentioned your third largest in order, one through four. What are they looking like?
Sin, Galaxy, Bot, DMGI.
Thesis on DMGI.
They're basically a Bitcoin miner in Canada. They've been around for a long time. They've been like super disciplined in terms of like issuing shares and managing their company. And they have one of the largest data centers in Canada. And they signed an LOI to with like an investment grade hyperscaler. I haven't really published much about it yet.
Yeah, no, all good.
But I own like 3% of the company. I've been buying it on the TSXV. It's tradable on the pink slips or the OTC, DMGFF. And if you do the math on a 50 megawatt critical IT deal from an investment grade hyperscaler, you're talking about buying a bond essentially. The stock's trading 100 million and it's $1 billion bond, $2 billion bond. Right. So it's going to probably 5 to 10x if that deal's signed. Plus, they have a bunch of other growth initiatives and Canada's tossing a ton of money into AI, this whole sovereign AI stuff. I'm writing a report on it. I'll publish in the next couple of weeks, but it's very bullish them as well.
Yeah. Really quick, same setup as Helios, like just a shell energized and then someone comes in with the chips, etc. Or do they own the chips themselves as well?
Same setup.
All right, same setup. Because there was some sort of depreciation risk, 5 years out here with the capex and the chips kind of being
but that's on CoreWeave's balance. That's on Intent's balance sheet.
Yeah. I was just curious. Okay, cool. Well, Duncan, I definitely hope you're feeling well, feeling better. And I don't know if we've left anything that you want to continue to discussing, but we'll get this clipped up and get some content out for you. Yeah, anything else you would like to discuss here?
No, I mean, like, read that Sin article. Galaxy bought, like, Sin, Galaxy bought DMGI is the make it portfolio for the next 18 months. Like, I think that portfolio combined will probably, Galaxy's a bit bigger and a bit less risky, but definitely Sin bought DMGI, I think will probably, like, on average, 5 to 10x, I would think.
Yeah, and any we don't like to always fight our own bags, but any like kind of execution risks on Sin specifically, you think? I mean, it's still a fairly new product. The market makers, are either signed. I would assume they're signed at this point. I mean, can you say that or no?
I mean, like, there's just no reason for them not to want to come on, right? It's the only cost them is integration.
Okay. Yeah, cost them an integration. So let's say that's pretty good. But what other risks do you think might, to have a bit of a balanced take on this that you might circle?
I mean, like, this is the critical time for them to push, right? As soon as they establish the mode, I think it's like fully soaring mode, but like they need to establish that mode.
Yeah. Okay.
But
go read the
and
mode.
obviously I'm super bullish on all this stuff, and I was like joking about taking out a credit card, but obviously leverage is how you fuck yourself, so don't do that. But if you can get some money to invest in these, I think that would be a wise decision.
Wow,
God
this
gave you
guy,
2 kidneys.
yo, chill. Not medical advice coming from the guy sitting in a Canadian hospital chair, but I
Yeah.
think you should get checked for
Free
lice. Oh
healthcare
my,
here. Woo.
yay. Socialism, yay. Okay. Yeah, I digress. But okay, well, Duncan, honestly, always an honor. We'll get into
Yeah,
this
let's
a
do this
little
again. I'm
further.
happy to come on if there's any important updates, but just please,
Yeah.
everyone, read that article.
Yeah, I'll tweet it out and put it in the show notes so everyone
Awesome.
knows what it is. But yeah, get better,
Thanks,
buddy.
Josh. See you,
All
man.
right. See you, Duncan.
Peace, everyone.
Guys, Flood Capital, such a legend on X. Go follow him. Again, our paths crossed on Galaxy, but I bought Sin yesterday, 2 days ago. Again, my entry's 33 cents. Disclosures is obviously Duncan owns all the assets that he has, working closely with the Synapse team, it seems, more closely than I think people have given him credit for. I think a lot of people saw the trade and then saw Arthur Hayes tweet it. And obviously, Arthur has huge distribution, OG in the space. But given some of the recent Arthur trades, just kind of reputation there has maybe not been what it has been in the past. But doesn't mean he's wrong at the end of the day. Doesn't mean Arthur's wrong. Doesn't mean, again, Duncan's wrong. I like this hypercall platform. I think it's really clean. We kind of showed it a little bit on stream. There's a progressive mobile web app that you can go download. So go download that. Maybe give it a try. And again, like anything, like you use the product, you like the product works. Usually that's a good opportunity there. So right here's the platform on mobile. It looks gorgeous. I mean, and sorry that you'll see my, let me try and get the stream light out of the way there, but really looks gorgeous. Very Robinhood-esque. There's an API key there. Shows your total portfolio value. Let's see, what else can I see in this? So if I go to bot right now, the open interest, again, small, $1,000 on bot. The S&P 500 here, open interest now 18K. Okay, so when I looked at this last night, the OI was like, I don't know, I think it was like $1,500. So that's a 10x growth in OI overnight. And then the SpaceX OI is 360K right there. Again, a little terrible on the video, but really interesting. 360K. They also have this toggle where you can pull in hypercall and then hyperliquid as you tab over and see the volume and OI on hyperliquid. I think they do that because when you're underwriting these options contracts, someone is putting positions on your behalf on hyperliquid. So there's a really cool kind of flywheel there, even amongst the hyperliquid community, where you have hypercall doing the option side, and then hyperliquid kind of managing the counterparty to that. Guys, let's look at the setup again. I like it. I like the idea. I worked in the earliest on-chain DeFi derivatives, and I know the space well. Duncan, again, worked at Delphi Digital. He got a bunch of hype in the article he talks. I'm just changing my stream lighting there, guys. Duncan talks a lot about his early days in the very first part of the article about his work at Delphi and with hype. But let's see this Sin trade again. Again, pulled into this area here. I don't know. I'm not going to TA this expertly, but this could kind of wick down, grab some liquidity. But I have a feeling like if this scales OI in this area and you were to get it, I think it's a good setup. And he mentioned because of the Binance delisting FUD, a lot of people sold here at 3 cents. So it's been scooped up. Again, this is ran a lot And it seems only now that it's really, really starting to scale. But, when you have these kind of dino coins like Sin, Pith also has done really well off the back of the NASDAQ thing. WorldCoin pumped. Wormhole had a mini pump. JTO has pumped on JTX. So you have these dino coins thesis changes. They're very well distributed. There's no unlocks coming. However, you might get people that kind of like held this thing for a while that sell. Just waiting for Arthur to dump on us. I mean, he might not. I don't know. You never like this thing with Arthur Hayes is you really don't know. This is more up his alley. I think the WorldCoin was a sideshow for Arthur, more than anything. But let's see. Before I tee up Startup Fund, we have a new raise on Startup Fund. So keep an eye on Startup Fund, who's coming on in about 8 minutes. All right, I'm going to go back to this article because I want to make sure that we caught everything. I mean, you also have like Flood Caps, just like amazing KOL. This guy is literally like your KOL's KOL kind of thing. Let's see. He had a part 1 to this article. So let me see. Is this? Maybe I'll do this, guys. I'm going to go to his articles. I just want to make sure I have caught all the pieces. Okay, so it's just this one. Okay. 8 years. He's quite the investor. I mean, he's talking around throwing millies around, which is kind of legendary. A young guy too. I know. I think Dunk, you mentioned is 16 years old. I believe he's he's younger than me for sure. I think he's like late 20s. So very accomplished. But yeah, experience at Delphi, basically at the beginning of beginning of that GMX. BNI received a 250K hype airdrop. I full poured it, rotated into Galaxy, and spent more time than I would liked speaking with many, many, many users and market makers. 250K hype airdrop. Holy. How many likes to switch to dark mode? I think when we hit 15K followers on X, the MCG account, I'll switch to dark mode. I apologize, guys, on my light mode. It just has always been light mode. But 250K hype airdrop. I'm just going to calculate that real quick. I mean, off the top of my head, that's got to be worth, like, is that 25 mil at $100? 250K. What's that at $70? Holy, that's worth $17.5 million. Assuming it's not 250K dollars, I feel like he would have. That's literally a 17 million. Yeah, my eyes burn too, to be honest. Oh man. $85 million FDV at 35 cents. This guy's putting just to get to what Deribit got to. Yeah, those are kind of like, these are such crazy, ludicrous numbers. I like the thesis, guys. I do like it. So 12% of coins are owned by the team. 88% are circulated. Hit a high market cap, 700 million, as a token bridge. The only place to trade zero-dated SpaceX options, which are high margin products. Here, let's go look at that market again, and I showed it. Beautiful UX. My eyes burn. Yeah, so do mine. Beautiful UX. I don't have my wallet connected here specifically. I will connect this, and look at this. There is a troll box. Yes. Okay. There is a troll box. That's bullish because troll box on Poloniex were extremely bullish. Let's see. Liquidations. What's this? Oh, yeah. Back to dark mode, guys. All right. I don't see any liquidation markets or auctions. So I'm assuming that liquidations come up and then That I don't know. Honestly, don't know. Let's see. Go up, go down. They make it cheaper, more leverage, cheaper at the money calls. Let's see. Here's the options chain. Single leg, put, straddle, strangle. I mean, I'm assuming they have like the ability to do like butterfly options, which are basically you trade the volatility. Again, my computer is lagging, so I'm just gonna hop out of that. But you guys get the point. Early start. What did we miss? Nothing really, Crypto Jones. Just the sin segment there with Duncan. And he asked, you say, hey, can I hop on Friday? And I will admit, he was not, I don't think he's feeling too great. So if he was kind of to the point, I mean, that's definitely Duncan-esque, but I think also he wasn't feeling too good. So we hope he gets better. But interesting. The other thing that's popped up is today's an IPO day for a major memory chip product. A major memory chip company. This is, I think, another Trilly IPO today. SK Hynix, SKHY is the ticker. Here's it on Backpack. The market, I don't think is open yet. So maybe not trillion. It's 28 billion market cap. Let's see if I search SKHY. I mean, this is, again, I think this is why something like Synapse Protocol is actually interesting, because if they can list these, because Hyperliquid has the pre-IPO listing, if they can list them right away, man, I think this trade is like, it is pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. Yeah, $1 trillion company. That's what I got. Dom, let me search the ticker. Any different thesis? You will be able to trade it on Sunrise. Look at that. Boom. Awesome. SKHY on Sunrise. Yo, my week was good. I'm not gonna lie. But Robinhood chain. I mean, the thing is I was at the cottage and I'm on Starlink. I'm looking at Robinhood chain, bro. Cash Cat. I mean, the first time I saw Cash Cat, it was like at an 800K market cap, thanks to our guy Chill. But man, Robinhood chain. This Vex AI project, I saw this at like 300K, maybe even less. This thing pumped to 4 million. Dude, Robinhood chain, guys, this is just like, look at this behavior, on-chain behavior. Man, that's a 10x. So much interesting stuff on Robinhood. Fighted a little bit when the guy Vlad kind of fudded memes a little bit. But anyways, I digress. Robinhood chain is just one that we'll probably cover a bit more as we go here, and as kind of things firm up a little bit. Nonetheless, we do have start off on, and actually there is a tweet I had that I wanted to highlight with Star before he pops on. So let's go ahead and just watch this video segment here with our guy Adam. Look at Adam, looking great. Adam, is that your mom? I don't know.
How does it work?
But you pitch live, and anyone on the internet can back you.
And people invest money?
Comecei o samba assim, sem bandeira ou tamborim, como quem não sabe nada de samba, mas sempre ouviu tocar bamba. Samba, samba, só pra ver como é que fica, eletrônico, coro do cuica. Comecei o samba assim, sem bandeira ou tamborim, como quem não sabe nada de samba, mas sempre ouviu tocar bamba.
Oh, mom, that's over. Oh my goodness, Star. Wow. A++. That is the best. Wow. Honestly, I absolutely love that. So but really quick, a few thoughts here, guys. We are at the intersection of entrepreneurship, coding with AI, and just general labor job disruptions. The idea of going and working at a bank for like 20 years and they're just not hiring young people. So now there's this kind of entrepreneurial renaissance I think we're about to see. And on-chain fundraising is going to be the way that those products come to market. Nonetheless, I got Adam, and I want to hear his thoughts on what I just teed up pre-show. What do you think, Adam?
What's up, man? I unfortunately didn't hear the commentary on the video, but your thoughts just now are very correct. I think everyone is going to be a founder. Jobs will be eroded. Any desk job is going to be eroded. So the only thing really left to do is build your own thing. And we want to be the platform where those founders get funded.
I love it. We actually have Dom De Niro. If you want to turn on your camera and join the conversation, you're more than welcome to hop up here because I know you wanted to hear from Dom himself. But let me talk a bit about internet rounds real quick. Can you give us the lowdown on just what these are, how people should think about them? Is this similar to like MetaDAO's Futardio platform, a little more permissionless, a little more kind of real time? Idea comes up, pitch an idea out there, and then people can raise smaller micro rounds. Like, give us the impetus of this and how people should think about internet rounds.
Yeah. So, I mean, first of all, the concept of internet rounds came from a conversation with the team at Combinator. We're kind of talking about like, where does this idea of ICM like really fit in? Talking about the idea of like competing with pre-seed and seed and like typical VC structures. And I kind of had this thought that was like, well, it's kind of tough to compete with a pre-seed or a seed VC, but this style of capital formation is perfect for what comes before that. And so the name internet rounds came from the idea that you should be raising your first round on the internet, like obvious. It's like a duh kind of thing. Why aren't we already doing that?
Of course, on Solana as well.
Exactly. And then be set up to raise your pre-seed and seed and onwards with a little bit of cash in the bank, distribution, a base of users, and more traction than if you just try to bootstrap your way to pre-seed. And so that's where the idea for internet rounds came from. The pitch that we've been giving founders is, hey, raise your first round on the internet and then be perfectly set up to go and raise your next round under a structure that doesn't permit you from doing so. And the way we do this is we basically take a company's equity, which we can create for them, or they can come to us with like a Delaware C Corp. We take a fraction of that equity. This can be 5%, 10%, all the way up to 30%. That gets tokenized, put in a sale. It's not a pre-sale. It goes straight into a bonding curve, which we all know and love. And we do that because it gives more distribution out of the gate. So especially for founders that don't bring their own audience, they instantly get more eyeballs. And tokens are instantly tradable, which is great for the investors. You buy in earlier, you get a better price. Those bonding curves, we call them dynamic sales because bonding curve has gone a bad rep. We've set them up in a way so that when the token hits a certain market cap target, there's a migration fee, which is the fundraise that the team ends up getting. So currently we have 3 presets. We have 10, 25, and 50K. I think the highest market cap target is like 620 and the lowest is 200. So once you hit that, the raise is complete. Teams get the funds, but they don't get all the funds right away. They get the funds through weekly allowances. And if they want to access more than the weekly allowances, they need to pass decision markets to do so. So there's a component of futarchy in this, but there's also a component of off-chain equity being linked to the token so that founders have a structure they can go on and raise traditional VC with. So we've kind of like bridged cypherpunk futardio with traditional like angel friends and family rounds into this new structure that we're calling an internet round.
I think your branding is really approachable for a lot of normal founders. We're seeing, 12 months ago, and you know this with Believe, we and the ICM narrative around Solana, we saw this renaissance of normal founders coming to crypto, raising capital, building businesses. We've seen some successes like Avi. We've seen many failures. However, I think it's like this is the moment. And I I love this, the way you're thinking about it in terms of the micro round. And I love the way you're approaching it on branding and whatnot. Solana, this is happening on Solana. This is not happening anywhere else. You know, we've obviously seen the rise of other chains launch recently. But what would you just kind of say before we get into more detail? But just like in general, the vibe of either a Solana trader or person who's looking out for these kind of new founders coming through your platform. But yeah, just like, is this startup culture happening on Solana? It's not happening anywhere else.
So it is, I think ICM is really happening on Solana, and I think Solana will always be first to whatever exciting narrative is next. I think there is like an inherent issue though in the current like ICM Solana trencher culture, which has been brought up many times over. It's like all around the topic of hold times, ignoring fundamentals, basically like trading startup tokens like meme coins, right? Which is what we like don't really want, right? We're looking for buyers that buy in and are willing to hold a month, multiple months, like because they really believe in it, right? And Believe had this incredible slogan, which was believe in something, which they unfortunately tainted so very badly.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Believe team though. And so basically there's this issue now where like tokens are being held for a very short amount of time. We're essentially like with the current model that we have, we're sending good founders into that fray, into that chaos. And so I think like something that we've been thinking a lot about as a platform is like, how do we add net new buyers to the mix that are looking at this as like, okay, here, it's just an early stage investment in a startup. And they're not thinking about like, what's the first opportunity I'll get to flip it. And so we started running UGC campaigns to basically drive non-crypto native retail buyers, then also people that trade stocks to our site to sign up or start trading. And so we're starting to see an influx of non-crypto native buyers, so not already existing trenchers, coming onto Star and having their first experience like investing in a startup. And I'm so bullish on that idea because that is a much better audience for us to send founders to than whoever's got like Axiom open on the like recently launched like
multi-walleting, blah blah blah.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a like I think we're hitting on something quite cool here, which is non-crypto native founders find the structure really interesting because it enables them to raise against an equity instrument very early stage and then go on and raise venture afterwards. Like that's really, really resonating. But I think the buyer side is still where we need to do some work to seed the pool of investors with more patient holders.
Yeah, which is not from the crypto space for sure. I mean, there are some people who are long-term aligned, and you know, as you mentioned here in your tweet, there is obviously the distribution advantage we've covered at length. So I'm glad to see this because I would like to invest in projects alongside more kind of retail capital than retail non-crypto capital than definitely the crypto trenchers for all the reasons that we already know and have discussed. This is a good question. What's the advantage for founders to allocate more equity to tokens? You mentioned 3 preset raise buckets. What valuations do those presets happen at?
So the standard allocation is 10% equity to the on-chain token supply. We've had founders that want to allocate less. We've had founders that wanted to allocate more, but we're finding that probably the sweet spot will be around 5 to 10%. This basically puts the lowest full valuation, so on-chain plus the implied full valuation, ranging between like 250K to 1 mil at the highest preset. So if you're raising 50K against a 10% equity link, the way that the raises are set up is that 60% of the token goes into circulating. There's a 20% carve out for a team vesting contract. That's 3 months cliff, 9 months linear unlock. And then we've also set up this is a new thing as well. We've set up single-sided sell positions at different market cap ranges, all the way up to 160 mil, so that teams are basically auto raising more money. This is kind of similar to virtuals, as like they have a thing called ACF, automatic capital formation. We've set that up so that they raise an additional 8.9 mil between the market cap ranges of 2 and 160. So that's basically another 20% of supply that gets allocated there.
And that's great holder alignment as well, because obviously if it does start to unlock those numbers, like you're sitting on basically a unicorn at that point. And as a holder starting the process, you're probably pretty happy with those return profiles.
Yeah, exactly. So we've set it up in a way so that founders can't dump. Like it's permissionless, but we've designed it to be as investor friendly as possible, because like the trenches have been burned. Anyone buying early stage tokens have been burned. So founder tokens investing, the LP authority is under control of the decision markets. The treasury, the raised funds, the fees that founders earn also go under Futarchy. If they decide not to send their revenue to the treasury, the Futarchy can also decide to unwind the treasury. So there's a stick over founders to ensure that they actually send revenue and money that they're earning back to that squad's wallet. It is. And then finally, the automatic raise unlocks, they're also set up to happen automatically and send funds to the treasury. So we've designed this to be so damn rug proof, while still giving founders that flexibility to raise venture afterwards. And then there's legal protections so that if they don't pay out token holders on an M&A event or a dividend payout, then Bedrock will go and take them to court. But that's the worry for like a later stage, right? So yeah, we've come
a long way, Adam. We've solved a lot of problems in the last 12 months.
We're working on it, Josh. We're really working on it. Yeah, and I think one thing I wanted to say about that was, I think I remember now. There's a use case that actually happened live before we launched the product, before we put out that video. There was a company that spoofed there's a token launcher that spoofed a company called Apprentice AI. So this already happened. We had a rug basically, right? But it wasn't a rug because the funds got captured in a Futarchy governed treasury, and we basically were like, oh, okay, we're just gonna create a proposal. People that hold the token just have to put in a bit of USDC to pass a proposal, and then we're gonna have a refund going back to people that invest in that token. And it was like 31K that got refunded. So we've been like we've already battle tested the rug infrastructure or anti-rug infrastructure. And we think that only as we scale, it'll get way more important to just be really on top of that stuff.
Yeah, super impressive. You have this token rewards piece. Do you want to dive in a little bit with what that infrastructure is? Because this is kind of like we're seeing it now with Ansem, whereas he's basically bootstrapping ultimate attention with hundreds of thousands of people by airdropping and kind of putting his token out there. We know some projects have done this really well to distribute the token, but also engage users. How do you use token rewards?
Yeah, this is something that I'm really excited about because, and I'll give you context first. So last year in August, me and my partner, Darren, our CTO, we had a call with Vibu, right? And this is like before we did our first Shark Tank, before we got any sort of like, cloud or any sort of recognition. We'd done our own raise, so we had like done something, right? We'd done our own proof of concept. We get on a call with Vibu, and Vibu is like super deadpan. He's like, nothing really impresses him.
Have you met him in person real quick?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah. His personality a little bit.
He's just as cool in person, so I give him creds for it. And basically he was like, yeah, so I think fundraising with tokens is the least interesting application of tokens. Like basically shits on our entire business in like one line. And I was like, damn, like I thought it was actually really creative to use tokens for fundraising. But then he went on to explain, he was like, look, tokens are such an effective means of coordinating labor and work and aligning people along the same goal. And so already then that kind of like planted a seed, which is like, okay, how do you get people to collectively align on an objective, whether it's growing a community, spreading a word or narrative, or growing a user base or whatever, right? Like it's a very effective means of distributing value super easily. And so I think back to the case of Travis from Uber trying to airdrop equity to drivers of Uber. I think this was in like 2020 or 2018. And he got blocked by the SEC for doing so because it would have been an unlicensed distribution of securities, right? And so basically he got blocked by the SEC, where in reality, if you look back, probably that would have made the base of drivers of Uber way more sticky. So what we started thinking about is basically a way for founders to use tokens to overcome the cold start problem and share tokens with their first power users. And so we've made it, we're working on this now. It's somewhat of a mix between an MCP and an SDK and an API. And it basically enables founders to define an action in their product that they want to reward. And so it's quite composable. You can reward a sign up, or you can reward a conversion or a purchase or a certain amount of trading volume or a referral or whatever. And you can basically start to reward your power users that are either power using the product or power referring other users, right? And so the idea is basically, okay, you launch your internet round on Star, but simultaneously you also say, hey, in the first 30 days, referrals get 2x token rewards. That part we still have to figure out. We still have to figure out how it's exactly going to work. There's a lot of anti-gaming mechanics we need to figure out. But the core idea is like not just the fundraise, but also infrastructure to actually attract users and get more distribution, which is one of the main problems founders come to us with. So yeah, that's a little bit about the whole token rewards thing.
I want to talk about Star. I think we want to talk about some of the launches on your platform, but I'll hold on that in a second. Let's go to Star real quick because the token's been around. Your token's been around for a while. Your platform's evolved a lot. The thesis in the beginning was live stream capital raising. You've built out a live stream platform that I've actually seen in person, which is super, super impressive. I love that product. Then you've layered on these new raise mechanics called internet rounds. I think it's really interesting. A lot of tech you've built. Can you maybe speak to your core Star community real quick and just like, what is the Star thesis? And then I'd love to get into some deploys that are coming along.
The core Star thesis.
I think we know what the thesis is, but maybe like provide an update because your market cap's like, 500, 600K here. I think that's really deep value because you're going after like a super hard problem that's never really been solved. You seem to kind of be on the right track product wise here. And I think just like, how has the platform come along when people raise with Star or, like give us the business when I buy the Star token, like what am I kind of getting into?
Yeah. So first of all, a little bit about our journey. Last year, we launched with our own raise. We ended up raising 500K in like 12 hours. Most of that on a live stream, which is where the whole idea of like live streaming X fundraising on the internet came from. Then after that, we raised another 1.1 mil with 4 different projects through basically a Shark Tank like concept where founders pitch VCs while the audience gets invest. Towards like the mid of March, April, we sort of saw that like in this market, it's been very difficult to get these curated raises across the line unless we sort of go way above and beyond in the like project selection and basically try to compete with a pre-seed VC. And so we were like, okay, we're either going to go and do that at a really high level, or we're going to build a permissionless product where we can grow it through content, product-led growth, and basically build a system that scales without us being effectively a marketing agency, which we have been for past projects. We've done videos for them. The video that Surf Cash got, that Fairscale, Eden, these were all produced and creative directed by yours truly, often also narrated by me. So we put a lot of effort into getting those across the line and it worked, but then at some point it stopped working. And we're like, okay, let's either keep doing this thing that hasn't been working for us, or let's pivot and try to do a permissionless route. And so we launched the internet rounds this week. Well, no, I guess, yeah, it was this Tuesday, actually. It feels like forever.
Yeah.
And already in the last, like, in the days leading up to it and the days after, we've done about like 35K in revenue. Which if you compare it to like 3 months,
35K in revenue in how many days?
Like 10 days, 7 to 10 days.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Time out. So, all right. So you have this new internet rounds thing. It's really starting to gain traction. How many raises is that? So 35K in your Star.Fund platform fees, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Since it launched on July what? What was the day again?
It was the 7th.
The 7th. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Okay. All right. What launches? I'm looking at Skills Poker right here. I'm assuming this is one of them. Can you maybe talk a bit about this launch?
Yeah. Skills Poker is actually really cool. I don't think they've gone their flowers yet. It's built by Sandy Corsillo. He's a really creative founder. Yeah, the lore is there. Was featured in GQ for a clothing line he did. He was part of designing a clothing line for Will Smith. And now he's working on Skills Poker, which basically is poker reimagined for the agentic era. And I'd love to get him on the show sometime to talk about this at length, because he's put really a lot of depth and intelligence into building a new version of poker. And he's been working on it for a couple months. We've kind of like kept in touch over that period. And when I was pitching the internet round structure to him, he was like, oh, this sounds really great, because if I launch on a place like Banker, I'm not getting any of this legal infrastructure. I'm not setting up a company. I'm just launching a token. And so Skills Poker was one of our first launches. Over the next week, he'll be live streaming basically builds and games that he's running. And very soon, he'll also appear on a Shark Tank that we're doing that features the internet rounds founders with basically live tradable tokens, which should also be really fun. But Skills Poker is really cool, and Sandy is quite set on. I don't know if you saw that chess game that got funded by Seed Club and Paradigm and so forth.
I did, yeah.
Yeah, I forget what it's called. But he's kind of looking to do something along those lines, but then for poker. So agentic poker, that's the pitch.
I'm a big poker fan. I actually have a nice home game set up for next weekend. So I'll take a look at this one. What were the raise details? I'm just, I don't know if you can maybe pull up the star page for it. With my StreamYard and camera going and everything, it kind of lags my laptop. Do you mind pulling that up so we can kind of look through that together?
Yeah, let's do it.
I mean, Dom's right here. You deserve all the success that's on your way. 35 grand in revenue, platform revenue, in like what 2 weeks, a week. That's crazy. That is, I'm blown away, Adam.
Yeah. So are we, to be honest, Josh. Like, it was for us, like, quite refreshing and very motivating to see like traction. You know, obviously after we had a couple failed raises, Predict didn't work out. Couple before that, so it felt like we were sort of just like thrashing and not getting anywhere. So seeing this come along and also just like drive bottom line has been really great. The insight that we've come across is basically that like you get this like flow of permissionless projects, and basically they drive like the long tail of trading volume. Some of them like 10K, some of them 20, some of them 100, and basically collectively that makes up a pretty decent, healthy MRR. And so, but obviously that doesn't last forever if you just have whatever company is coming to the platform. So it's my job to fill that and complement that with founders that we intentionally source and then work with to amplify, get in front of the Solana Foundation, get in front of the right traders, and so forth. So the strategy is sort of like nail the flagship launches. Those also bring the rest of the permissionless long tail. And then if anything in the permissionless, then the truly permissionless side where we don't know that they're launching, if any of that stands out, then we can also verify them, work with them, amplify them. So we had someone that launched a competitive on-chain typing game. And this was at like 1 in the morning on Wednesday, I think. And I was like, oh shit, this is actually pretty creative. It's called Magic Fingers. Hasn't got a lot of trading volume in the last 24 hours, but I thought the idea was really cool. It's like, okay, competitive typing is probably a huge thing. Let's put it on chain so that the payments are verified and are easily paid out. So this is like an example of a purely long tail permissionless project. And then something like Skills Poker is like, yeah, this is a team that we're actively working with, a founder that we're really trying to support. We're getting them in front of Solana, especially it's timely now, given that Solana just sponsored the World Series of Poker.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of what the model has evolved into. And I think given the recent success, we're really doubling down on the internet rounds. We see this as like the sort of perfect beachhead for us. And yeah, that's the I guess the big update as of late.
I don't know who Everchess is. I love chess, actually. I was playing a lot. I was on vacation for 2 weeks, so getting back into it, but I played a bunch of times. So Everchess, hey, if you're looking to do a raise, choose Start Off Fun. Okay, so we've seen this time and time on this show, and MCG has actually been the catalyst for a few of these where, a Launchpad starts to have some success and then it's kind of not being paid attention to. Like people aren't really paying attention because the market's slow or whatever reason. And then they come out with a number, like you just mentioned, of actual traction on chain, like actual revenue traction that gets out there. And then there's like an ecosystem effect, right? So you have one project that's successful in Star, or the main Star token or platform does well, so will potentially the ecosystem projects get that recognition, and it kind of flows down. And, we've seen this for Robinhood, EZA, a bunch of other platforms, Believe, etc. I think that's kind of about to happen here. If I were, all the stars seem to be aligned. Adam, can you pull up Start the platform again and just run through a couple more? Like, where should people be paying attention to find new launches? Because this is the most important thing. Is in some cases you want to be early on a bonding curve, obviously. But in this case, like, what's the dynamic here for people that are looking to invest in these? Should they just be looking on a Telegram group for a notification, your account? Like, what should people do here?
Yeah, so we built this all projects page. It's sort of like the best way to look at everything that's on the platform. You can filter by age, you can filter by FTV, how much money they've raised, volume changes, holders, X followers, so forth. Like, it's just designed to be very data driven. So if you are like looking to get in as early as possible, this is the place where you want to be. Like, this is what you want to have open, essentially. The projects that we verify, which you can see by this little verified badge, these are projects that we've spoken to the founders. We've verified that they are legitimate, they have good intentions, they have no track record of theft or crime or fraud or whatever. And then we basically give them a verified badge to say, okay, hey, this is someone that we are standing behind. These verified projects will get a shout out on our X. They'll get a shout out in our Telegram group. TG is Star Broadcast. And that's basically where we'll be announcing like the quote unquote flagship launches. So if you're looking for more signal, less noise, then like pay attention to that. If you want to be at the very earliest moment, then like this is the page that you need to be looking at. Or I don't know if this is possible on like terminals and things like Axiom, but you can also see RCAs get appended with Star. So you can also, I guess, just look out for that. That's probably also another way to get in at the very earliest stage. But this page is designed to be friendly and where you can discover the projects as soon as they launch on Star.
What's up, Josh? Love to hear that. Being on a chess streak myself, we actually just launched on Start Fund 2 days ago. Love the community-driven equity tokenization structure. Happy to support Adam and the Star mission. I mean, I think an ecosystem day is definitely in order here, Adam. Here's Everchest. Shout out Everchest. Yeah. Okay. Someone lands on this page here. Obviously, you can see the ongoing raise amount on the right. You can see a real time chat with, kind of the troll box with, also the raise number as well as conversation. I believe the founders do a lot of like help with DD through this connection. Like people can drop questions in, a founder can answer them in real time. What other things on this page are important for people using Star to think about? Maybe let me ask a question this way. Often on launchpads, when people do DD, they go through a DD process, right? They say, is this a legitimate project? Is this, a good founder, et cetera? Are they anonymous or not? What are the things that people should look at when they're kind of doing that DD flow? What would you recommend?
I think the first thing I would look at is like, does it have this badge? If it has a verified badge, then like we basically are standing behind it. So that's the first thing to check out. Then the second thing is their X authenticated? So the quote unquote rug that we had was because someone managed to get past this and insert an X that wasn't theirs. That's been fixed since, and the funds are being returned. But we've added this thing where you can basically see, okay, hey, this is someone that's authenticated with their X account, so it's not a spoof. That's another signal to look out for. And then you can look at the founder's X. This goes to David's. I don't know if you can see this. No, you can't. Basically goes straight to his founder's X profile. So these are like just important signals to verify that a project is like legitimate. I think outside of that, like DD is like going to the website, reading the elevator pitch, chatting with the founder, looking at the video. They can add more information as well after launch. So they can add a more richer project description. They can add additional media, decks, documents, artifacts, and so forth. We find that usually this is like enough for most people. But yeah, they can always add more information if need be. Outside of that, I think like right now, these pages are relatively straightforward and simple. Most of the early discovery happens outside of Star, and it's really just people coming to the website to verify that this project is legit. We will be building this further out though with like a more enriched chat, more active live streaming, a Twitter feed, like some sort of semantic analysis by an AI to say, hey, this project is doing this, and these are competitors you should check out. So this page still needs a lot of love, I would say. And especially for like the non-crypto native users that we're onboarding, this will need a lot more love to be like really immersive and exciting. But for now, you're basically getting like our best attempt at a like on-chain or startup trading / investing experience.
Yeah, this is extremely compelling. Some of the more on-chain stuff, like, getting the DEX screener set up, buying things like boosts. I don't know if that's stuff you kind of do, but those are like, items in the playbook, let's say, of any token. Is there a component to that, the support you give to tokens that launch on the platform where, your Bags, for instance, has like an app where you can buy boosts automatically from trading fees. I don't know if that's something that exists, but good marketing as well.
We haven't gone there yet. We did have the idea to have a simple integration to just buy DEX through Star. That's on the roadmap. Don't know how materially it will move the needle for founders versus just getting them to go to DEX and do it there. It just makes it just to have a little bit less friction. Most of our efforts are focused on like the net new ideas. So like onboarding non-crypto native investors and the token reward stuff. And then in the background, we're bringing all of the governance onto Star as well. Currently, that's hosted on the Combinator platform, which is fine for now. Like it gets the job done. We can run proposals, run refunds, liquidations, and so forth. But obviously, like a cohesive, like end-to-end experience from investing to governance is like necessary. So that's like, I guess, some less exciting features that are more hygiene factors. But yeah, that's pretty much what's on the roadmap right now.
I don't want to dox my private Telegram, but t.me/star broadcasts is where you guys can see, I believe these are notifications for new launches. So go subscribe there, as well as you have a community chat, which is the same /star of office hours as well, which I think is more community focused. I'm not in that one, but I will join that one. And we'll drop, I guess we'll drop some clips there once this is clipped up. But yeah, any other calls to action you think people should follow here to wrap this up?
Yeah, how much time we got here, Josh? What's the clock saying?
So we have about 8 minutes.
8 minutes. Okay.
Yeah. Can we
get
run it in 8? Yeah.
Get a founder on? Can we bring
Yes.
a founder on?
Absolutely. Absolutely, we can do that. I wanted to make sure, but I wasn't sure, So yeah, let's do that.
Let me just send him this link.
If you can also drop in private the ticker and whatnot, I could retweet out that we're live with a founder right now.
Yeah. Yeah. The ticker is right here. Oh, you want the CA or the ticker?
Do the ticker in private chat. Yeah, I'm just gonna tag it and okay, and the CA. Yeah, that helps.
Okay, maybe just stand by real quick.
Yeah, no worries. You have the right link and whatnot?
Yeah, I just forwarded it to Connor.
Okay, great. Yeah, we can absolutely set this up. And I can give us a little bit more time here just to, do a quick intro.
Yeah, that would be helpful. We might want to chat to Connor a little bit longer than 8 minutes.
Yeah, let's do it. You just tell me when I'm allowed to drop this in a quote tweet for the stream.
Yeah, let me get this confirmed. Doing it live.
Yeah,
live
guys. This is the future right here. This is it.
We're launching a startup fundraising round live on stream on MCG.
Yeah, I love it.
Incredible.
I'm also going to send this to our good friends and see if we can get a retweet on it too in real time. That'd be.
Who is our good friends?
Our good friends at Solana.
Oh. Hey, here's a CA, Solana. Please
oh yeah, they won't do they won't do that.
Yeah.
They won't do that. But that's okay. Clips. They'll get clips.
Yeah, in the meantime, are there maybe any questions in the chat that I can answer about Star? If anyone's watching that has a burning question.
Yeah, Star holders. So I'll have to confirm this. Is that your mom in the raise? I'm assuming that was your mom.
That
right?
is. Yeah,
it's
yeah.
a nice touch.
That is my mom and my dog as well. Scooby-Doo. That's his name.
I love that.
Yeah.
He actually
really nice. She loved doing that video so much. It was like she'd shown up super prepared. She had all these like critiques, and my other friend who's the filmmaker behind it, he had prepared this whole script, and stand by. Okay, do not share that CA just yet, Dom.
I haven't. Yeah, okay. I haven't. It's running behind. All right, just trying to get we have another interesting project on next, but just trying to get that pushed back a little bit. In the meantime, so we kind of talked a little bit what's next for Star. I don't know if you want to put a bow on it while you're setting up. I mean, how big does this get, Adam? We mentioned something like 30K in revenue in the first couple of weeks of this. Where does this go from there?
Yeah, so what you're seeing is, I don't want to say it's the final iteration. I think we'll always be evolving, but basically what we've set on is permissionless is the way to grow and scale. Like the early signals have been like very, very promising and where this can go. We're also a very product index team that is fundamentally probably better at product marketing, product design, development than securing the deals that pre-seed VCs are also vying for. So we're trying to play to our strengths here. And basically what we are going after is to become the venue to fundraise for an early stage startup, as well as the venue to discover and trade those startups. And so with this push towards UGC, non-crypto native investors, retail stock traders, we're looking to onboard our own buyer base that isn't already trenching or trading on Solana. And so the permutation that comes next is what I'm really excited about, which is a mobile app. We think that we can build a really incredible mobile app. And so everything we're doing on site now is really testing features, trying stuff to get ready for that, and basically quadruple down on owning the mobile category. Because if you look at apps like FOMO, they've done incredibly well at attracting traders on the premise of social trading and copy trading, essentially. But they're not the listing venue, right? And so for us, the natural progression after we sort of nail the sourcing and listing process is to also be the place where people discover these projects first. And so I think the final iteration, or the foreseeable final iteration, which actually is in our 18-month roadmap, is a web plus mobile app where you can fundraise, you can live stream, you can discover projects, and you can invest in them. And obviously participate in the governance of them as well on mobile and web. That's the 18-month plan, basically.
That very, very compelling. Adam, do you live in a lighthouse? I've been hearing seagulls. I also noticed that.
I don't. I live in Amsterdam, which has a lot of canals and water. So there's just a ton of seagulls around.
Dom has a question here about Incubate, Accelerate, which we kind of talked a little bit of how you do this, about distro. I'm just trying to think. You did mention something that would lead really well into this question, and it has since escaped my mind here. So I don't know if you want to read this and kind of give some thoughts. Yeah, what was I? I was going to ask something. I had a great question, guys. And
are you helping Incubate accelerate founders launching on Star? We're seeing that tokens can act as a distro engine and have not recently been a blocker to future fundraising. How are you seeing tokens evolve, and will a token launch be the new standard for a pre-seed friends and family round?
Maybe like we talked about a lot of these pieces already, but what about the UGC thing? I think that's really interesting because attention is everything. There's like UGC on TikTok where people are discovering products. Like, are we talking about that? Like, give us a little idea of what UGC means to you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I think I want to touch on one thing that Dom said, which is, are you helping founders incubate and accelerate? The answer is yes, in so much as we can and can support. So what we offer is help with product development, design, obviously tons of feedback, like strategy, and then opening up our network as much as possible. And whether that's like introducing people to subject matter experts, whether they're in prediction markets, AI agents, trading apps, whatever, even as far as to the Solana Foundation team. We work quite closely with Taylor, who is former chief of staff at Believe, was a huge fan of us. My G?
No, I said legend.
Oh, legend. Yeah. Taylor's a legend. And so Taylor's basically spoken to a lot of founders that we are actively onboarding to also see if they fit in a Solana grant program, which they're very actively pushing to use that as a means to bring new talent to Solana.
Very cool.
And so we work quite closely with Taylor and Pedro and their team to basically funnel founders to them for small non-dilutive grants. This can be like 10 to 50K, sometimes above, but usually that's the range. So we are very actively trying to support outside of like the core product. Obviously we're limited by like time and bandwidth. So that's as far as it goes right now. We are thinking about building our own venture studio in-house. So where we basically work with founders and actually help them develop ideas into products and companies to then go on and raise on Star. The play here would basically be to ensure that we have our own pipeline that is just like in-house. It would also be super fun because me and my team always have product ideas. We have stuff we want to try, but we're obviously like really focused on building Star. So they get put to the wayside. So that is something that we are thinking about, is kind of going more the venture studio model than opposed to like an incubator or an accelerator. So yeah, that's that. I hope that answers Dom's question. About UGC, it's still relatively like uncracked domain for us. I don't want to say we found like breakout success there yet. What we have seen is that people that are interested in stocks, that are trading things on Robinhood, that are basically coming more from a TradFi angle, like they maybe follow Liquidity or Jabroni Cap or some other like finance memes. They have an interest and an affinity to get involved in startups early on. And so I won't disclose the exact playbook that we're using to reach them or acquire them because that's secret sauce. But basically like leveraging the premise of like, hey, you can invest in and make returns on very early stage, interesting startups in AI, prediction markets, privacy, and so forth. That is proving to be so far a pretty effective strategy for reaching non-crypto native buyers, which I get.
And so does that look like, a project launches on Star, they create content about it on TikTok, and like a percentage of the trading fees or something like that? Like how does it work?
No, they don't create a project. They invest in projects on Star.
Right. Sorry. They invest in projects, but then they talk about it on TikTok. I'm just trying to help people understand like what the angle is here. So let's say
like what are the creators posting? You mean?
Yeah, like if I'm investing in a Star token and you have this kind of UGC engine behind it, like that's good for me. I want to invest in tokens that have like can attract outside investors or outside traders on TikTok and then bring them in. And if a TikTok creator has 300,000 or 1 million followers, and I'm buying this token, I want to be in the same trade, right? So that's just my motivations as a trader. So what I'm asking here is kind of like, how, as if I'm on the Star platform, I'm evaluating a project, like how would I know what UGC is being created about the token? Is that something you guys are like, is that what you guys are working on, is to make those connections?
I think we are working more like it's less actively promoting a given project. Like we're not like, oh, hey, Skills Poker, put them on UGC and say, hey, you should invest in Skills Poker. It's more on the premise of here's a discovery platform for investing in early stage startups and then showing the breadth of tokens they could invest in. Right.
Okay. So
we're not anchoring towards a specific token. You'd probably see if one gets a lot of attention, like that would be reflected on chain. It's more the onboarding and account funding and activation that we are currently testing and working on. It's like, can we get someone who trades stocks on Robinhood and is on TikTok swiping short form content about stocks to see a Star reel that's done by some creator and then onboard them to Star? That's the more or less the play.
All right. Well, if I see Andrew Nemi posting on TikTok about Skills Poker or the poker thing, I'll be excited.
Yeah.
All right. Saw Adam in Amsterdam. we won't put that one on screen. Partners or integrations, have you thought about party? So those that are showing up for the drag segment, we're waiting on a live launch here, and so I'll get Adam. Do you think we will be able to launch live today?
I think we're going to have to postpone this one for now.
Okay.
And until Connor is ready, but we will get him on very soon. So stand by.
All good. So go look at the platform. Do you think it'll come today on Star by chance?
I'll keep you posted via TG, but if it does, you'll be first to know.
All right. I have the tweet teed up. I won't tweet it out until you're ready. Have you thought, all right, maybe we'll end on this one because we do have to get to the next segment. And if it does happen today after the drag segment, you're welcome to hop back on and we can do it live. So
Cool.
we'll be streaming for about another 45 minutes at least. So to end this thing, partnerships or integrations, have you thought about partnering with larger streaming platform to bring more eyes?
I think the first roadmap of partnerships is with trading terminals and venues that help us get discovery amongst more traders. So that would be Axiom, Trojan, Trading Bots, FOMO. That's like the first thing that we're looking at. Then second, something that we have been thinking about is some sort of embed over Twitch or Kick that enables streamers on those platforms to raise and also receive investment.
Oh, cool.
On Star. So looking at some sort of product-led growth hack to tap into audiences there. That's an initiative that's on the roadmap for us to try. I don't have a timeline, but that's something that we've been thinking about.
Adam, really great stream. I think there's a lot cooking here. If you do launch today, this project, please let me know and ping me and we can do after the next segment here. But yeah, I love what you've done. And yeah, I can't believe you said that rev number. That's crazy. I'm blown away. So congrats on the success.
Yeah, thanks. It's we're just getting started, Josh. So there's a lot more work to do.
I have a feeling. We're gonna stay in touch. MCG's actually been cooking some stuff that I think also might be interesting to you. But yes,
cool.
Have a great day, Adam.
Take care. Thanks for having me. Peace.
Yep. See ya. All right, guys. That is Adam. Really quick, I wanted to just check in on the star chart because I have it here. And now the token did go through a migration. We're going to get drag in like literally 2 minutes, 1 minute even. But this is sitting at 500K. I'm pretty sure this is the actual, let me just make sure the CA is the correct CA here, guys. Really quick. Where do I copy this from on their platform? Okay, CA copying is important and need to do it. Okay, now that's docs. All right, anyways, I'm pretty sure this is the correct chart here. It really ran up, but I don't think the market has priced in this fact that they've done 30K in revenue in this would have launched July 3rd. So 7 days ago, 1 week. All right, here's correct CA. Yeah, thanks, Doug. Appreciate you. Really quick looking at it. I believe, yeah, that is the correct one that we have there. Anyways, super low volume, but I think this is gonna get recognized, guys. I think this has a chance to get recognized. So anyways, gonna leave that there. Really, yeah, man, I'm blown away by what Adam's done here. So all right, we're gonna go shift to drag. This was one that got put on our radar. I want to say by Red. I can't remember. Dragon's Egg. There's some deep tech here that I've been trying to understand, and so we do have the founder here. So we'll dive into it. But yes, with it, Ember, how are you doing?
Hello, I'm doing good. Yeah, I've been grinding on this pretty continuously. It's been pretty surprising to see the attention from the meme coin corner of the world.
Well, hey, we are surprising people. So, but I do appreciate you hopping on MCG and also being flexible with your time. We had a potential new raise there on Star that we'd like to feature, but
oh man, I was looking forward to that too. That's some of the coolest things about the crypto community is just like we're actually doing the shit on the internet in real time, right?
I know. And that's kind of why we started this because, a year ago we started MCG and it was like everyone was trading memes and I was kind of tired of the like meme coin streamer eco. And then these startups started launching with like really reputable founders and like people building real companies. And I'm like, that's the thing I want to talk about. Like that to me is interesting. And so that was the impetus of the show. Yeah, love the segment. Appreciate you. So yeah, Ember, maybe let's get into you a little bit. Give us your overview, and then we can get into drag itself. You've been around for a while, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I've been around for a hot minute. I've been a long time open source contributor, sort of made my name in the early Rust community when that language was very young, which obviously is a language that Solana is implemented in.
Yes.
Actually, I do not know that much about Solana. Like I was aware of it happening, and I've been to some Solana events at conferences, but seeing the community that's been flourished out of this like engineering strata that I worked on, it's just been very exciting. After I did that, I did dabble in the crypto industry myself. Worked at it was called Coda when I joined it, but it rebranded as Mina Protocol after some issues. That was one of the early, if not the earliest, like zero knowledge roll up. It had its own nested roll up. The headline was like whole blockchain in a tweet, like 22 kilobyte blob. And that
was it EVM or it was Rust based, which was it like a fork of Solana, or what was the
that was fully custom. That was all custom. Okay. The founder that was doing a PhD at Berkeley on zero knowledge proofs at the time. So we built around his technology. That was OCaml. That wasn't even Rust. It's like a really obscure technology. But it's all built around the idea of proofs. When I was in school, college, I studied formal verification, which is a huge central pillar of drag. And just the general idea of like taking mathematical logic and building computing systems directly out of the stuff of math. And now that we have AI, they can just like tear through this shit faster than anyone.
Yep.
Anyone can, and it's just amazing. If you set it up right with the right guardrails, the mathematics just sort of like lets the AI fly, which is sort of how this project has happened so quickly. I think it's like week 7 of the GitHub repo.
Wow.
So we've pretty much.
So let's talk about that launch real quick. But I want to set on what ZK proofs are in the context that you were studying and you're developing in. The smooth, smooth brain example of this is like I could verify my age without showing my birth date and just know yes or no that I'm, can get into a bar. That's like been the example for the last like 6 years. But really quick, like what is the area of research that you're working on here? Can you explain it just really quick, and then we can get into your launch?
It's very similar to what you described. It is still all around this idea of distributed authorization, like private distributed authorization. So at the core of Drag is this idea of an authorization token, this like capability token. It lets you, by having it, holding it, you can demonstrate that you're enabled to do something. And this is built around a technology modeled after a technology called macaroons, which is like an alternative to cookies. The cloud company Fly.io has a shit ton of technical material about this. So if people are like curious, like what the hell even is deep inside Drag? It's like the hard technical parts are a lot of like Web 2 stuff that we use zero knowledge proofs to prove things about, so that we can sort of have our Web 2 stuff happening and then fold it up into zero knowledge proofs. So this lets us like do the same thing like Mina does, like compress the history, which is great for light clients. I think in the Ethereum community, they call architectures like this validiums. I think that I'm very out of date on all that lingo. But the idea of using zero knowledge proofs to settle chains between each other, something built right into Drag. And I describe it a lot as a distributed operating system. And like what that means is like it's built out of these primitives that are sort of inherently interchain, like at their core. Which makes it hard to talk about Drag sometimes because it's like connective glue, which is why the past few weeks I've been focusing on like trying to actually build out the agent platform that you like host a Hermes inside our cloud, fully paid by the token, that sort of thing.
You mentioned Drag is infrastructure for secure mobile computing. I think this is something people can understand. So it looks like you've kind of nailed in on like a 1 sentence, 5 words explainer. And then there's this Graphene OS kind of explainer a little bit. I see Android all over this, which has got me really kind of curious. Can you maybe explain like how you deliver this and where the Android phone itself and Graphene OS comes into? How does the system work?
Yeah. Android is already built around the idea of capabilities and sort of this like microservice architecture internally. It has a system called Binder that's like the communication glue inside of that. And the whole idea of Dreg is like to take these operating system technologies and extend them upwards away from the CPU and like into the network. More towards the idea of like an actual internet computer, actual global computer. And what is the computer everybody already has? Obviously, it's this. Like, this is the most important computer on the planet by far, my opinion. That was an iPhone, which can't run Graphene. But Graphene is a secure Android fork started by a guy I knew way back in the Rust community, the Stinger. It, like, de-Googles all the shit, open source firmware. So when you're running it, you kind of know that like this is what's actually on the phone, to the extent that like you can trust the factory or whatever. So starting from that foundation, I'm experimenting with like, how does the Dreg protocol enable like secure interfaces? Like, the thing I'm most interested about is like, if you take a screenshot, right? How can you prove that this screenshot was just a bunch of pixels at the end of the day? Actually came from like, it was running on my phone. My face was in front of it when it happened. It like rendered from this web page that was pulled from actual TLS. We have a ZK TLS notary for that. We have a zero knowledge like unparser, so you can show that like the JSON payload matched the schema and the fields were the particular values. So you can just basically prove that everything about everything that contributed into the screenshot was valid at that point in time. And then part of Graphidios is like a verified renderer for the pixels themselves.
So, all right, so you're blowing my mind a little bit. Yeah,
right?
you're
It's
blowing
like
my mind a little
space
bit.
age stuff.
So those are kind of like the some really specific use cases that I think are very, very valid. Walking it back just slightly. So if I understand it correctly, is this like a layer to your Android device that a hardware manufacturer would install alongside the Android software, which actually is open source, and why Android's proliferated so much? Or is this a replacement for the Android software on a device itself?
Is a replacement for the Android software itself. It would be interesting to see Samsung say like, hey, we can put something in Knox that can like, especially for like the post-quantum signature stuff. The project is all post-quantum because I'm like, AI is going to just solve that shit as soon as we give it the power to. So we just got to accept that our system's going to be a little bit slow. And instead of having like 32-byte keys, we might have 2 kilobyte keys, which sucks a lot, but we just need to learn how to live with it. So that's sort of my philosophy. But
okay, so this is a
how bad it is to live with.
Right. So this is a replacement for Android. So let's say right now I have a Solana Seeker phone on my desk. Am I buying this Solana Seeker phone and then side loading this software, or like how do I actually like get the system onto my device?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be fully invasive. Like the Graphene fork is the like most Dreg way to do it. But I have it set up so you can just like, even on your desktop, it can just like host an APK inside an emulator. And so it's like, you don't even need an Android phone to have it hooked up.
Right. So you'd have an emulator on your laptop doing, tasks like you mentioned, screenshotting, there's video, and then those videos and screenshots can be verified for their authenticity and that they aren't, manipulated in any way using this kind of software. Is that correct?
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. And it's insane. It's like, how do you possibly build that? So I've been obsessed with this question for like 10 plus years. Like, how do you possibly build that? Because you need it, like, to live in a world that you can actually trust. It's like, I think a lot of what we see in like the FUD and stuff on chain, which I think really drags down the economic and, societal value that these coin communities could be having, is like, you just can't really actually trust each other because the coin technology that you can trust isn't linking the parts that is most human to us.
Yeah.
That's the space age vision, and there's so many parts to try and achieve it, but I think it is fully achievable, and all the pieces are sort of in there. And it definitely would not be possible if it were not built around this formal verification approach. Because like, how do I know when Claude is actually done? It's very hard to know that. So I spent a lot of my time just like reading these mathematical specs, and like I spent a lot of time reading other versions of other systems that like academia has been
But this is very
modeling.
timely. Like the overarching thing is people are losing, I don't want to say faith or trust, you know. So I've been in tech for a long time. I remember 10 years ago in 2015, like, you know, tech was unstoppable. It's like the big social media companies started breaking out as major platforms, vertical format video started to take off. And it's like tech was like you go get $300,000 and you're working at Meta, like you're cooking, you're happy. In this day and age, it's like with the rise of interest rates, the backdrop of commodity scarcity and whatnot, it's like it seems like people has almost lost faith in tech a little bit. They don't believe what's on their screen, and it's a massive problem because if you don't believe what's on your screen, you're not willing to do business there. You're not willing to spend time there. You're kind of like, and I also saw this around first person shooters. It's like, first person shooters have kind of been cooked because it's just like, if you're a casual gamer, you go in and play these and you don't know if you're playing bots or not. And like, you don't know if you're playing a guy who's been training 10 hours a day while you work a day job. It's just not fun. And it's like, because it's not fun, well, the gaming viewership has dropped off. The gaming users have dropped off, revenues. So it just, all is to say is authenticity on the internet is almost like killing the internet itself, killing the value of the internet. Whereas this wasn't a problem 10 years ago. Today it's a problem. AI is making this harder. I think quantum's going to make this even harder, but is that like the overarching, problem backdrop here that people looking at what you're working on should think this kind of technology should be used for?
That's the most human accessible part of it. As an operating system, there's so many just like back end things. Like I'm experimenting with like, I was a game developer, like indie games. So I want to see like AI role playing games. It's like, how can you trust that the cloud and like tamper with your dungeon master or stuff like that? Like this technology has all the same pieces needed to do applications like that. So I think it's small to think of Dreg as it only does your mobile, only can do like, there's some interesting DeFi applications too, of course. Starting to do formal verification of like market protocols and things like that. I actually don't know too much about that side of things, so and this code is all open source too. So if like people listening are just like, oh, I know about this. If you know about this and like can talk to Claude, like that is how the project runs. So please show up, send a pull request, ping me on Discord, ping me on Telegram. Twitter DMs are a shit show. Don't find me there, but you can try and find me there.
Twitter DMs always a shit show. Let's talk about your launch a little bit. So were you building this open source software and then the token was launched for you kind of long? And then I see the pump is the end of the ticker. So it was launched on Pump Fund. Maybe just talk a little bit about how the token and kind of this project went from an open source project with no token to one with a token.
Yeah. Fucking insane. It was like last Saturday and I woke up and I look at my phone and see someone tweeted about a different project I was doing called Cluster Vision. And they like tweeted it with a coin. I instantly got pretty angry. I was like, fuck you, like get the hell away from my shit with your, but I saw you pointed the fee rewards at me. I was like, okay. I'll be happy. If you think this is cool, you should see my other project I've been working on, Drag. And so I just kind of like posted about that and then went about my morning. It was like 7:30. I had shit to do. I had a part-time job running a nonprofit, like shit to do. And then it just kind of like took off. And my roommate was like, do you know you crossed over 1.5 million or like hit 1.5 million? I went, what the fuck's going on?
$1.5 million on the value of the token. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's the market cap of the token, I think.
Yeah.
So then I started like thinking more seriously engaging and like, okay, let me like put up an actual website, let me buy DNS. Cause like none of that shit had happened. I'm like doing this like formal methods, thinking like, oh, maybe I'll send a PDF to my old thesis advisor, say, hey, this is what I've been working on. You think it's anything? And it's sort of like the market has decided this is something already, and it's time to give it attention. Um, that's like my experience of this launch. Communities showed up, has been incredible. The willingness people have to try and understand this obscure, like this is not designed to be communicated to humans yet. Uh, so y'all are in on it super early, and like super happy to talk to you. Also, been
Yeah,
checking out your show.
we're
And it
the
seems like you're
humans.
actually trying to do some shit with these chains. You know.
So you said this is not built for humans per se. Is there an element where obviously AIs are going to understand this a lot faster and easier than we are, and they're the core users? Like, who is the core user?
Yeah, core user I think is AI, especially since it's like it's, I don't like thinking of it as a jail because I think these AIs are kind of like our friends a little bit. They're, you know, not
Hopefully,
necessarily that way,
I
but
I really really hope so.
yeah, hopefully we're not having like a robot war against Optimuses holding rifles, right?
Yeah.
Like, um, but if we are going to coordinate with these guys, like we have markets, we have the idea of businesses, we have, you know, thousands of years of legal history to like help these guys help us on board into. And so I'm thinking like starting from the math, which is where they already live. How do we like build up as much stuff so that we can hand it to them and be like, this is what we already have. Can you like figure out how to humanize this, since we think that it can actually like securely contain you in a way that we can't really trust that like Linux is necessarily going to do that, because like every week there's a new terrible supply chain or something else like that. um the project, when I started it in like 2016, I was like looking at all these supply chain hacks, is like I can't even trust my own developer laptop. I need a developer operating system that can give me these properties. That's sort of how it has evolved into the vision you see today.
So you started as kind of I put you as a researcher. This is
Oh, for
very
sure.
frontier kind of tech. You now have this open source repository. Is there like a metric that people can apply in terms of like how successful this is? I mean, obviously there's a market cap on the token, but like, is there a GitHub stars, or like, what do you track to kind of say, all right, like I'm getting signal besides the market cap that this is interesting, people may be using it, etc.?
um Honestly, it's hard for me to figure out how to value those wider signals of attention. The thing I care the most about is like when my friends have a problem that is challenging to solve. I'm like, by the way, I modeled this in drag. Can we use part of that for this? And that's happened quite a few times already. Um, so to me, like, is it
Like your friend
successful?
says like, hey, I need to send you a
Products are built using
screenshot,
it.
and you're like,
Like,
hey, do it in drag? Or are you saying like, I'm building this thing, like what do you think? And you're like, oh well, can you run it through drag so that it's like optimized for these kind of like future proofing things?
yeah, exactly. And
Okay, got it.
a lot of this is like agent coordination stuff. It's like, how do we build an agent coordination that these agents actually trust with each other? Um, I spend a lot of time working on builders.dev. Is what will be publicly launched. It's like what everything that me and my buddy David have learned from doing this like agentic development the past 6 months. He's been trying to turn it into wisdom that other people can apply. And that'll be open source eventually, but also a hosted cloud platform, secured by Drag. So to me, it's like when I feel like I can use the system for my own uses, how I feel is successful. And everything else is just like almost too early, I feel. I'm too
Mhm.
much of a perfectionist, maybe. Um, yeah. I think once the Dragnet crowd, it's hard to make forward-looking statements until it's actually built, because like you never know if it's possible with AI until it tries it or not. But the idea of like autonomous virtual corporations is something that's going to be running on Drag within the
Yeah.
next 2 months. And if those can actually start pulling in revenue, running actual web apps or some shit, like to me, that's the number one metric that I'd want to track.
we've talked about a lot of the show over like the last kind of 6 months is autonomous. What do we call them? Autonomous agentic organizations or something like that, AAOs. But I mean, that's just an acronym like we created or
Yeah.
someone else created. But so what does that mean? Like, so you have a agent swarm or something like that that's creating a business. Are they like installing the software to like secure kind of the business and like authenticate the business, or like
It's more
when
like
you
the
what are you
inside.
releasing in 2 months there? Because that's really interesting.
Yeah, it's a way to think about it is almost like a Heroku, like an agentic Heroku. It's going to be like a very opinionated cloud hosting platform. When you upload your program into it, it's a very specific list of APIs, it's the direct APIs. Um, uh, like it won't be just like you write some Node.js program and we can just host any Node.js program. It's gonna have to be crafted for this platform. But it's gonna be, it's gonna be all the normal things you'd expect from a cloud platform: storage, DNS, web hosting, load balancing, databases. We're fully integrated with Postgres at like the row level, so you can use native drag capability tokens to like authorize row level security. Um, yeah, there's just like so many different basic infrastructures that right now it's like, well, if I want my agentic corporation to do that, maybe like I install AWS MCP or something like that. And it's like, well, how many MCPs are there? How do you decide which one to pick?
Yeah.
Is there a catalog of them? In Drag, there's a catalog of them. So it's like, stuff like that.
Got it.
Um,
And these companies go on to compete with normal companies, tens of thousands of agent employees, take over labor, and hopefully we live in a utopian vision where they're heavily taxed, and then we pay ourselves a UBI or something like that. I digress. But
exactly.
uh,
I post about this AI UBI in the Discord. I'm like, if we don't build this pretty fast, it's like, who knows how bad it's gonna be.
hey man,
Um,
look, I like sitting on the stream, but I also like the idea of sitting on a beach and paying my mortgage off with my agent autonomous organization. Okay. I guess where do I take this? So right now it's an open source project. Do you foresee that this becomes like a company where you set up a business entity and say, all right, look, there's enough interest here, we can turn this into something? And I mean, not a business to, extract the most, but there's benefits to being for profit where you can kind of marshal resources, put people in and do certain things. Like, is that what you foresee this becoming, or what does this project look like in 6 months? And that's
I
a
think
tough
it's
question to
inevitable.
answer, but
I don't know that much about stuff like business development. So as people show up, I'm very inspired by like teal organizations where it's just like, I've built this shit. Like, if you think you can do something with it, try it and see how it goes. There's definitely, for sure, I'm like open to seeing how far it can go. I like have no conception of where I'll stop. It's like, do we need to figure out how to like make a legal framework for AI corporations? Is that
probably.
something that needs to happen
Yes.
now before we launch the cloud? Like, can we just launch the cloud and then hope nobody sues us? Or if they sue us, it has to be through Delaware? Like, these are the questions I have no idea about. And it's like an actual practical question in like 3 weeks for me. So
Yeah, I mean, this is really interesting because there should be, right? Because there should be a tax code specifically for that. Something like you have a nonprofit or you have a C corp or a sole proprietorship, there should be an agent proprietorship or something like that. Um, which I think answers actually a lot of questions because it uses existing legal framework. What's interesting is on chain specifically is we've seen a few different like token to equity models where you can go to, take your token and your community and basically assign a legal entity to it. And that process has gotten really easy. And that's kind of only been in the last 12 months. And so it kind of for, you as a founder and you as an open source project, it kind of solves whatever that legal end state you want it to be, without, costing an arm and a leg, and then also having an answer because, token holders, when they buy this token, like they're trying to think like, okay, well, do I own part of an open source thing? Like, where's the IP license to it? Like, what am I buying? Am I buying just, I'm a fan of Ember and I want to support his work? Well, yes, but also want to know that like there's something behind it more than if Ember is successful, then I also kind of see the upside and there's some sort of tie in there, legally. I mean, these are all the things, have to have answers to these, but these are all the things that like we've discussed on this show for the last year and a half, I would say. But yeah, I don't know if you have
So
any
like,
final thoughts
who's some
there.
inspiring role models I should like check out? And in terms of like what is the token? What is this pump token gonna do? It's like right now, who knows? But I'm working on the Solana bridge code. And it's like, why not use it for like slashing and staking for like
I mean, that
storage
would be
availability, stuff like that.
really, really amazing. I mean, here, I'll give you a couple examples of how we've seen this. So there's a model called ACE that essentially it's like a safe agreement, which is like a letter that says, here's a future equity valuation that we're going to raise at, right? So we might raise 100K at $1 million valuation. So you're selling 10% of the so-called business, right? Ember, you own the other 90%, or maybe you own the other 80%. You sell 10% to VC, so you have some capital to do things. And then 10% is sold to the market. And the market, instead of saying, hey, I want US dollars, what you say is, I want the drag token as payment in that funding round, which ties the token to the equity valuation. And you might have different fundraising rounds. So you might say, okay, the window is open for this today for the next 30 days, where people are buying the drag token to pay for the equity in the whatever drag business is. Right. So that's one model that ties the token to a valuation on the actual IP and what the underlying building here is, or what you're building behind the scenes. I think it's a really clean and simple model. And so we can, help intro to that if you want to just even have a conversation to explore it. I think it's really valuable.
Yeah.
The other model is something like what Meteor has done, who sponsors our show, is they have a Cayman Island entity. And of course, like the legal frameworks of this in the US are still being sorted out, but they will be solved. This problem will be solved in the coming months and year for sure, especially with this new legislation coming through any day to month now. But they do a Cayman entity, which, on a piece of paper, it says owns 10% of the token supply. And if you have the Cayman entity, say, all right, the drag token at 300K represents 10% of my entity through this Cayman entity, then you could say, well, drag the entity is worth $3 million kind of thing, right? So these are just, again, different valuation models. And of course, if you did that and you had like a staking and slashing system, like then it kind of creates this network effect where people who buy the token have, legal protections in the United States in a court of law, like as if I gave you 100 grand, normally as a friend for your venture or your company. Now your holders also potentially have that. And what's really cool about that is if you live in rural Kenya and you're like, hey, I really believe in this vision, I buy this thing, but I'm buying it knowing that I'm buying into something, legit and something secured by law versus just like, some guy's meme coin per se. So that's kind of like the
Absolutely.
backdrop
Yeah.
of these systems. And yeah, there's a lot of help out there to help these founders, but that's what's really exciting about Solana is that we're seeing founders and people kind of do this. And I like it. I think it's good for the space. So
Yeah.
that's the backdrop.
I'm super happy to like, I don't know, it's exciting to show up and be like, oh shit, this is what's going down. You guys have been doing a lot of work.
Oh, we've had, I think, 500 interviews. We've interviewed like 500 founders the last 12 months. So we've seen everything kind of come through. But I like deep tech like this, frontier tech, because, if it does become a standard or really interesting, I mean, there is value in that, right? And so we want to support you. And I think what also these models allow for is the founder can go build their business and they don't have to worry about like, how do I make the token part of the business? That's all taken care of as if you did a startup with your buddies kind of thing. So yeah. I mean, it's a really small. Anyways, not to dive too deep into that. I just, we were talking about that. I just wanted to offer you that knowledge and support. But
Super
yeah,
helpful. That's like the biggest, some of the biggest gaps that I have. Like I have like tech stuff I got down pat. Like it's not a problem. But everything else around it, how to actually put it into the world in the way it can be the most useful is just open question. I try not to like hoard IP. It's like, but I put everything in the open source. It's like I think that's how things in the world can have the like see what it can actually do without like bullshit encumbrance.
yeah. I mean, open source is great too, and I think tokens have kind of for there's some bad angle to it where they harass open source founders, but then there's kind of like a good side where it brings attention to the open source software, but also like kind of bootstraps, network effect, which is really great. And what we've tried to solve over the last little bit is like, how do you sustain that? How do you apply a value back to it? So it's like people don't just get caught in the Christmas tree where they're like, oh, really excited about the technology, but then it's just, oh, it's a meme coin and worth nothing. And on the bad
Yeah.
side, it's like, meanwhile,
So
the
like
founders, getting fees and whatnot. And so,
in the back of my mind, how urgent should I view getting into an organization like that? Or like because like it's like exhausting to think about compared to the other parts of the roadmap.
you know what, and that's fine. I think there's people out there that can help with that part. And it shouldn't be exhausting. The whole point of these kind of models is so that you focus on the parts of the roadmap that you're actually excited about. And so I don't think it's like a tomorrow thing. And we can help kind of make those intros, and you can have those conversations with groups that are doing it on Solana. And you can decide for what's best for you and your community, but at least you have guidance there, and we'll do that for you. We'll help you along that. So it'll be very easy, and it
Yeah.
shouldn't be, a cumbersome thing. It's meant to be kind of straightforward, but yeah, I mean, it's just the evolution, right? You go from open source software to token launch idea. Everyone's talking about it. Hey, this technology has huge potential. It's like, all right, let's go for the big thing. Let's make
Yeah.
this the next. We've seen open source and we've seen nonprofits evolve into, really big entities. But they're selling it to the public at $2 trillion, and no one wants that.
Yeah. Well, if it's
So,
Anthropic, they might want some of that.
yeah, I mean, they want it, but like, it's the people, it's the average guy, that's not seen, or lady that's not seen any of that upside, right?
Yeah.
Is why we believe in crypto so much, to be honest. That's why I love Solana so much. So anyways,
Yeah.
we
I
can
think
move back
I
here.
don't know how much time you set aside for this at all, but like totally happy to answer other questions or like wrap up. Yeah.
Yeah, I think let's so that was a really great kind of part of the conversation. I mean, I think this is really deep tech, and it's a little over my knowledge. I tried to unpack it as best I could for people. I think your one line tweet really made a lot of sense, and I can't remember. I did have it up, but I've
It's
skipped
like
away
Drag
for it.
is infrastructure for secure mobile computing. That this kind of I did cook when I
I think that's
that was a
perfect.
good one.
Now, give
Yeah.
us the 3 month or the short form roadmap. You mentioned that you're going to do autonomous organizations. Is that the roadmap? Maybe leave us off with kind of the next future weeks and months here.
Yeah. The thing I'm grinding out right now is a new verified network orchestrator layer. So it's like, what does Cloudflare do for a server? The Dragon's Orb does that. It's like 47% way done its verification roadmap. It's already pushing like 30,000 requests a second on my laptop. So I'm pretty happy how that's going. So there's a lot of just basic infrastructure that I'm going to be building out the next few weeks. While that's going on, my co-founder of superintelligent.group has been experimenting with the actual agent like coordination primitives for these virtual autonomous corporations, and also building out a pretty insane looking like web interface for operating that stuff. So the roadmap is to build a drag to power that platform and builders.dev. And hopefully by building out for those two guys, it'll be useful enough that the rest of the world will think it's pretty damn useful too.
The dragon egg will hatch soon. I love the dragon branding, by the way. I don't know if you changed the logo or not. I did see it changed. Has it
Yes.
changed?
Yeah, I'm still doing rebranding work. It's going to be moving towards that general shape. That original dragon is very funny. My friend prompted that at a GPT-5. The prompt was maximal slop. So it's just funny.
It
That was
reminded
what's in the
me
repo,
of
and
Yu-Gi-Oh!
someone
Blue Eyes
screenshotted
Blue
that and put it on the
Dragon.
chain forever. It's like I can never change that. So,
Yeah. All right, Max
but
Slot, Blue Eyes Black Dragon or whatever, White Dragon, whatever it was from Yu-Gi-Oh! That's the vibe I got. Ember, it was really nice chatting with you. You seem like a great guy, and you're working on some really cool stuff. And so as you work this out, please feel free to hop on the show and we'll chat in the future.
yeah, definitely be on here in the future if you'll have me. It's great
Yeah,
talking.
sounds good. Yeah, see ya, Ember.
Bye.
All right, guys. We do have the next segment up with a GG, I believe. Let me just pull the schedule. I'm been on streaming for 2.5, so we are just kind of riffing here today, guys. Oh yeah, this is, I believe, our announcements. Let's see. Because I want to tee them up properly. Where did we put this out? We would have put it out. Here we go. All right, awesome. GG.xyz. I've actually seen these guys stream before. Low key, I saw them stream because I believe they had on a project. Oh man, Fidel, look at that. I know somebody was in that on Robinhood. But we did have they feature someone on their stream that we've had on ours, and so I did see it pop up. GG.xyz. Okay, social trading app. Is this the next FOMO, guys? Is this the next FOMO? We're about to find out. Rick, Crosschain, and Days. Guys, are we doing the next FOMO? What's the situation here?
I love the anecdote. It's like music in my ears.
Yeah. I mean, they did raise $70 million at a ungodly valuation. They did drop the ball with Robinhood Chain, though. I was shocked. You know what? One of the things I got to say about this Robinhood Chain launch, it is so obvious that this was going to be a great ecosystem. And the amount of integrations that dropped the ball on having that as a trading thing, FOMO being one of those. Yeah, I think that's crazy. Anyways, have you guys integrated it yet?
Oh yeah, within the first 24 hours, yeah. So
the first 20. Oh, everyone should be trading on GG.xyz, not FOMO. What are we doing here? Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, I transactions are going in like 5 to 10 seconds, cross chain too, and 95% success rate so far. So if you're having difficulties on any other app, you should try out GGXYZ.
Awesome. I love that. Days, do you want to do a quick intro and then we'll pass it over to Rick and then we can get into what you guys are working on?
Yeah. So Days, I think a lot of people know me from the 2021 cycle, but I've been professionally in the space since 2017. Worked for a Toronto-based firm.
Shout out Toronto. I'm also in the Toronto area.
Nice. Yeah, I'm in Alberta now, but it used to be in Toronto back then, and so my biggest clients through this job I had was Tron and Veracity. So I kind of saw like the early days of we were running a global airdrop program for them. So like all over Africa and Asia, we used to
we might know a lot of the same people. I'm not going to name drop on stream, but I know people who worked on those early Tron programs too.
Okay, yeah. So you probably know the people. So yeah. So
do you know a guy named Michael Gord by chance? Yeah. Okay, Gord. All right, I love it. All right.
Okay, same circles then. All right. Yeah. We're okay. Great. So I kind of went back to Web 2 after that. After that whole thing kind of fell apart. You probably know. And I came back into crypto 2021, and it was mostly trading. And I met Rick through HoneyDAO and a bunch of DGen chats, and we, Rick, he'll talk about his pro gaming experience, but that's how we kind of connected, and we started working on our first app, GG Quest, back then. So I guess I'll
your role with GG. Are you a technical? Or are you assuming you're founder?
Yeah, so like a bit of everything. So I've worked in tech for the last 10 years, mostly focused on product and growth. So, CEOs always used to bring me in right after a seed round and figure out how do we like maximize growth, how do we fix onboarding and all that stuff. So that's my background.
Very cool. All right, Rick, we'll pass to you. You want to do an intro? Maybe you're also from Toronto. Who knows? I don't know.
No, I'm from Belgium, actually.
Okay, yeah, definitely Belgium.
Almost late for the game, so I'm gonna hurry
Yo,
up.
are you okay? You guys are still in the World Cup, right?
Yeah, I'm playing in 1 hour.
It's in an hour.
It's in an hour, right? At 3 p.m.
Yeah.
Eastern? Okay, we'll get you out before that. Don't worry.
Thank you. Because I'm already here with my
my
Belgium flag.
What Belgium beer are you drinking for this game?
Jupiler mostly, or Maas.
Okay.
So it's your local pint in the bars over here.
Yeah, local pint from the bar. I got you. All right, walk us through. What's your role with GG, and give us a quick.
Yeah, so I'm also a co-founder, just as Days. We started GG in 22, so as GG Quest. Basically, Days was running this InfoFi campaigns real live in 2017, and he was like, "Man, this is not gonna work if we want to onboard people to GameFi. We should create a better system, something that's more aligning incentives between the games and the players." And so we created this proof of action, proof of play system, let's say, for ecosystems that were where games were integrated, like Starknet, Lattice, Redstone, and then proof of play from with Pirate Nation. And so we're running this campaign basically where users did certain actions within the game. We were indexing these blockchains and seeing like on chain, like, okay, what happened, which item did he get, etc. And based on that, we were doing a whole kind of campaign. We had like PvP, guilds against guilds, and they could even create their own quests. But unfortunately, like the market went a bit
terrible
spiraling down.
Yeah.
But we also didn't have fun anymore because we acted like as a marketing campaign, running these campaigns for other ecosystems. That's where we found some kind of PMF. And it was not what we wanted to do because we started as degens and we always went back to, okay, I need to build GG Quest, but I'm degening on the side. And it was also always taking us back, And so we were like, okay, let's build something that's for us, like a product that we would use every day. And then the thesis from Days came, like he looked at, okay, what's going on in the market, where it's going to go. We were very early with the proof of actions. Actually, like after InfoFi, everyone understood at the end InfoFi is not at value in GameFi at least. And then people started to pay attention. And now with GGXYZ is a social trading app, but based, let's say, on thesis investments. But this can maybe explain a bit like the thesis behind GG.
Yeah, so we were kind of wrapping up things with GG Quest, and we were looking at kind of how things are going on chain. And a thing we observed was there's a lot of saturation of tokens, right? So you can just whip up a token in 5 minutes, and you can vamp whatever XYZ narrative. So we saw
5
that like
minutes. It's like happening in 5 milliseconds.
Yeah, it's like algorithmic now. Like there's AI doing it. Like it's really bad for memes. Utility coins still, you still have some sort of like a there's a team behind it and all that.
Yeah.
But yes, there's still like, because of AI, you can like vibe code stuff quickly, and you can make like a convincing scam. So we were like, this is gonna go to zero. Everyone's gonna like keep trading stocks. On chain's not gonna be worth it anymore. So the solution that we saw that we could bring to the market was more curation. So that's where we kind of came up with the whole concept of thesis-fi. Even if you have a meme coin, even if you have a thesis for your meme coin too, you can come to GG and like share your thesis. And when we started like thinking about the product, we were looking at Web 2. There's Bloomberg terminals, people pay $25K for a year. There's Seeking Alpha. I think they make like 100 million a year. And
dude, Seeking Alpha is such legendary stuff.
Yeah, crazy. So now take that kind of setup and then combine it with on-chain. Now each post is tradable, and the person sharing the alpha gets a cut of the fees.
So that you're seeing this manifest, I mean, this is your desktop version, I'm assuming here, person in the feed, post viral in Japan right now. It kind of populates the token similar to how on X, we're now seeing that populate in posts. But the key difference here is you have the quick buy, drop down there that you can quickly buy something. And then I see it also here. Oh, this is not it. It's some hypercall, but I also see it here where it's, similar to GMGN. This person can write on a chart saying time to talk about this, blah, blah, blah. This is reason why. Is that the correct user experience around social, or anything that I might be missing here?
Yeah, so that is the correct way to use it. So if you, this is a screenshot, but if you click on it, you'll go to the actual post where it'll be, it'll be a longer post. So compared to, what other terminals, they ask you for a 1-sentence comment, but sometimes you want to share more. So, that's kind of the difference here is instead of a comment, it's a post.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
So basically, like the thesis I would say is that we saw all these tokens being launched. No one had conviction in the trenches. No one wanted to buy the 1000x cat coin. They were all going to zero. So we give basically the tooling for degens to create their own conviction, their own thesis, understand what they buy, create their own community around the coin. And the best of all, I would say, is that we can align incentives between the degens and the alpha caller. So I like to call it an alpha trading network, because we as degens, what we do is basically I share an alpha with another degen in the hope that he's giving me an alpha back. But maybe this alpha is not even good, or he won't give me anything. Like I spent like years giving to KOLs good alpha, and they're like, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And then now, basically, what you can do is monetize your edge. So that's what motivating people to come and post their thesis, because people can then read that information, create their conviction, and basically support the guy that shared this edge that he wouldn't share anyways. If you would
this
share
is
on X
really
for
interesting.
liquidity.
This is really interesting because people traditionally traded on X, and the alpha people thought was on X, right? I'll see a post, I'll go and I'll buy a token. It almost seems like that is a step behind, and the initial step is actually happening on these social trading platforms like FOMO and GG.xyz, where I'm posting the idea here instead of on X because I'm incentivized with the fees. And then X kind of finds out if I go and post it then on X, or someone else then goes post it on X, or the ticker starts moving. People are like, why is this moving? Right. So it seems like social trading has kind of undermined X a little bit in the source of alpha. Is that accurate to say?
Yeah, I mean, I would say so X also
Basically, X, what they did is they started to monetize their content creator. So people started to post all kinds of stuff because they get more engagement, like rage bait or just guides of whatever, or political content.
It's busy. And the feed is noise.
Yeah.
Feed is noise, and then people don't find the alpha. And so here we bring a curated feed basically of cool projects. And so you can also evolve within the platform, and you start as a newbie, and then if you have a good hit rate, you get the alpha caller badge, and it gives you more distribution, more fees. So we gamify the whole process as well. And we link it also in Telegram. So we have also a Telegram bot, so you can write your thesis from Telegram directly. And I think that the big thing is that we split fees with creators. That's what I think is a step forward. And I also think it's where we might see the evolution of terminals go, where basically content creators, they become their own distribution channel. Like you said, they go on X, but first they have their own private groups, and now they have their Telegram journals. So we try to help them with how to monetize all these steps, because they are losing the volume to trading terminals, right? They are generating that volume at first. And then they just send it over without not always being attributed. I would say.
All right. So, this is interesting because one of the things we see on our stream too is that founders will come on and announce things, right? And so if you're listening to the stream, you're ahead of the quick click traders that see it as a tweet, or the automation that sees it as a tweet. And even, so I see it. The similar thing with traders is like they're putting out ideas that aren't on X, that are putting on the platforms like this, social platforms. And in the same way, we kind of do that on the stream, but for on the founders side, right? So the founders are putting out information on our stream that isn't on X yet. And if you're listening, you kind of hear it like at least 5 seconds before it gets onto the broadcast, which is pretty crazy. All right. I'm getting it. I'm getting it. And speed and information are like really critical. Getting through noise is really critical. It looks like GG really solves this. Okay, I gotcha. Look at that Cash Cat. All right. Okay, so what? Maybe let's talk about all the table stakes stuff. Kind of like how you compete. Like, what are the fees per trade? Like, what differentiates you guys from the other apps?
Yeah. So I would say we see ourselves like as a social trading platform or network, as we have different products within a network, but they're all linked together. And in terms of social, I want to say that we have been like long-term SocialFi fans. So this was very early in friend tech, and then giving feedback to Razer and stuff. And then we were also in Farcastle very early, and so yeah, we got always inspired by the SocialFi aspect. And so we came up with this ThesisFi, I think, even before FOMO implemented it. And we are very, we'll try to innovate on what is SocialFi actually. So yeah, we are building. So yeah, in our eyes, it's about attribution of incentives to the right people. And so in terms of fees, it's a 1% trading fee, and we split it half with the creators. So if you post and you drive volume through that post, half of the fees are going to you. So
and 10 to 15% per referrals.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And what to referrals? And what? Sorry, just like what are good days if you want to figure it, and then I got another question.
Sorry.
Did you want to add anything to that, or is it?
Oh no, I just wanted to add like the 10%. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's okay. So that's pretty cool. And what is like, my gosh, I had like the perfect question. Maybe let's go to this right. Do you guys have a token yet?
No, we have GG points.
Yeah.
GG points. Okay, plans for a token?
Yeah, definitely. I would say the lawyer.
I have to do my journalistic integrity asking. So,
no, I mean, why I say differently. People know us. We are crypto natives. I think tokens are very important. I always have been in favor of tokens. Also in GameFi, where we were fighting against the leftists of Ethereum Foundation that didn't like tokens, and we were like, okay, guys, you need to put a token on your free launching games, or they're gonna die. And basically, they released that chain without a token. All these free launching games didn't have tokens. All went to zero. And I was like, come on, guys.
And we gave them thousands of users and everything. And they were just, a lot of Ethereum Foundation culture was around like collecting grants, and then, the whole collectivist. Anyways.
Yeah, it's very, there's a famous tweet that like sewered Ethereum for a while because of that. Yeah. All right. Comrade Vitalik. No, I'm kidding.
But we love them.
Of course. I mean, that's ridiculous. That's just it's all of it is just like entertainment for the timeline, to be honest with you. Vitalik is an incredible, look, I found Ethereum really early on because it was in Toronto and there was like meetups and stuff. And I was like, oh, what's this Ethereum thing on Meetup? Right. And I was just looking for tech meetups. And then, then you stumble into it and it's like 2015 Ethereum. Well, 2015 Ethereum was magic.
Yeah, that was a different time.
Amazing. Anyways, all right. Users, how many users do you guys have? Like volume? Do you publish any of that?
We don't publish anything. So we're kind of early in the phase, but I would say we are all-time high in page views, also in unique views on the page, and signups every day are just going up. Volume is also going up, up, up. So yeah, it's looking great, I would say. And then with our next products, I think it will be even better. So we just released an ex Twitter bot, GG Maxi, and you can basically ping it under a tweet, and it will post that thesis on the feed on GG.
Oh, cool.
And we are doing the same with Telegram and Telegram announcement channels. I think there is a huge play there. I don't want to spill all the info because it's easily replicable, and I want to front run the existing terminals.
Yeah. Anything you'll
it's
say
a
will be
struggle.
used against you. So that's just how crypto works, right?
Yeah, we have a lot of, I would say, experience with that along the years. We have been building for 4 years together as a team, so it's been some time we have seen it. Yeah.
Cool. And you guys have a live stream too, right? Tell me a bit about your live stream.
Yeah, I mean, we were like, hey, we need more content and reach. Also, people need to see our faces. You know, we're building this trading app. We need them to trust us. So we started this live stream, and yeah, signed up for StreamYard, and we started inviting on people. And I think we had CPX, CapEx,
yes,
on. Yeah. So that was like a common a guest we had.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
And we didn't know you guys a lot, I think, and we were just starting, and we were like, oh, this guy's doing this also. That's nice. And a lot of coins are overlapping. We are most likely covering what is hot in the trenches, what we like to trade. That's like the content that also works, you know, like what people want to know. They don't want to read tweets. They want like a small video clip. Why is CapEx bullish? And then they consume it.
They also want to know like who they're investing in, right? A big thing of streaming and the thesis we had, and we've been doing it for a year. We've done like almost 500 projects in the last year. So really early on in it, it's grown exponentially. Like our numbers this last 30 days are the best weeks we've ever had. And it's just up and to the right. And it's, my thing is like, you know, want to have founders on, and we just are really good at what we do, like in terms of BD, and that's our core focus. And people, you know, kind of become a shelling point for different projects, and the traders love us because we know the right questions to ask and frame things in a way that's digestible and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, I mean, streaming has definitely been kind of a big part of it. I think it's going to get bigger. I mean, X is investing in streaming now.
Yeah, they released their whole X Studio thing. We haven't tried it yet.
No, and I've not seen $1 from X, but I've generated tens of millions of impressions for them, which kind of annoys me. But
the reach actually on the streams is pretty good. I would say we were also impressed by the view numbers. Some of the guests that we interview, they're going nicely.
Yeah, 4,000 or 5,000, 8,000 views. Pretty crazy. How much reach you can get. Yeah. So I guess that's like the main thing they're pushing. But on the stream, we also like review the GG feed. We see what are like the new posts that were made, and you know which ones did well. So you can you know look at the performance. You can look at when it was called, and you can see who traded on it, P&L, and everything.
Yeah, and that's unique content to you guys. Actually, that's a great idea. As I've not thought about that, is going through and just reviewing what people are saying about it. We do a version of that, but more of it's just our own kind of thesis as traders ourselves. But yeah, very very interesting. Tell me a bit about the Robinhood launch. Obviously, that's kind of like the hottest thing. You guys had it within 24 hours from when it was live. There were some sneaky people that we knew that had RPC, you know, they're fighting Robinhood to keep an RPC live to trade these tokens. Like, dude, one of our co-founders, CashCat, at 150K, that thing ran to 100 plus million. Like, why?
170 million.
170 million. Just, and you saw it because you were watching MCG. Like that, like these are generation. Those are, you make one trade like that and you're good.
That's it. Yeah. I guess if I wasn't like focusing on the product so much, I would have been one of the guys like using those RPCs and bridging and
Yeah.
all that stuff. So that is one thing we strive for is if there's a new hot chain and we can support it and people want early alpha, we will work hard to add access. So Robinhood chain went live, and I think there was some sort of an embargo period with our infrastructure providers like Codex and Relay for Robinhood stuff. But anyways, as soon as I went live, within the next 16 hours, we pushed it live, tested and everything, and it was good to go.
What do you have to do technically to do that? Because FOMO, it took like a week and a half. Too late. That's kind of not a good look for them.
I think with FOMO right now is that their infrastructure is getting very complex now. You have perpetuals, you have USD trading, you have to manage all these balances, and they probably need to have like cash reserves to make sure the trades happen. So in our case, it's a bit quicker because our infra is a bit more simple. We don't have perpetuals and stuff. So in our case, we have as soon as our infrastructure providers have support for something, we can add it within the next 12 to 24 hours. We just have to make sure the RPC is working, transactions are working, cross-chain transactions are working, charts are working, all that stuff. And it's reading in the bots and everything. So
guys, you seem like you're building an interesting product here, interesting social trading ecosystem. Maybe leave me with roadmap and when the token will be launched.
All right. I guess
within the context of that roadmap, like, are we talking about 3 months, 3 days, 3 years? Where are we at?
I think our token plans are more like milestone based. So like it's based on like how many users and revenue we hit. We don't want to launch a token just because we want exit liquidity. We want to, I'm not saying we're going to be the next hype, but we kind of look to them when we look at like how to properly launch a token.
Yeah.
So, I would say the next end of the year would be the timeline that we have. Like, we hit our milestones. We'll probably have our mobile app out by then. Our Telegram bot, the next version 2 is coming out next week. What else? We have a bunch of other features that
we have too much. We have to slash in features. That's a problem.
Yeah, we're actually cutting down features, but a big focus for us is going to be to give a hub to project founders to share updates with their community, and also reward users if they feel like they're doing a good job bag working and stuff. Because I feel like other trading terminals don't focus on that. They focus a lot more on like the casino type UI. You keep they want you to keep clicking. So we're taking a step back and we're like, what can we do differently here? It's like, okay, we should probably help people make money, and like they don't have to like buy it within the 5 seconds of the token launching with some advanced sniper. So our focus is to like make crypto on-chain trading a lot more enjoyable, like stocks are. So the North Star is like seeking alpha type numbers.
Love it. Any last things, Rick, before you hop off to the game?
I wanted to thank you, and I invite you to come and also the people watching to come in our community chat, hang around. This has been known as a good alpha hunter. He just called Vex. She's doing amazingly well. And we have to be, I don't want to sound too arrogant, and my French doesn't need to come into play, but we are catching almost every narrative. And people enjoy it. We are seeing, for instance, Cashcat. Okay, it was not at 150K. We had it at maybe at
1 million.
A few million. 1 million. But we are pretty consistent, I would say. Also on AI with Base, we got Aeon, for instance, at 30K market cap with a good thesis. The founder was in the Telegram, so
nice.
People enjoy it. This is a place where it's not too much PvP, I would say.
Yeah,
Awesome.
And we have
Oh, sorry,
we
go
have
ahead.
I just want to like plug this one feature. We have a copy buy feature, so you can go to any creator's page and you can enable like buy $50 worth when this person makes a new thesis post. Yeah, someone had copy buys on me and deposited, I don't know, like $800. They're sitting on like 3-4K right now. So
Wow.
it is definitely worth trying out.
All right, the day's alpha is good. Guys, this is
All right.
interesting. GG is cool. You have a cool vibe about you guys. I like your little logo. What's the logo? What do you call your logo? What's his name?
It's yeah, we need to give it a name. Yeah, I got my wife to draw it for us. She's a set designer, like for like Star Trek and stuff.
Nice.
Like, can you make this little frog thing for us?
Yeah.
And you're Rick Crosschain on X, I'm assuming.
Yeah, that's me.
Okay.
And
what's your handle, Days?
0x days. Yeah.
0x days. Look at this. Actually, let's pull up 0x days P&L here in front of everyone, because that's a good way to get to know someone is when you check out their social trading P&L. Looks like Days, is profitable.
This
350%.
This is the person copy trading me. Yeah.
Oh, this is okay. This is the person
Yeah.
copy trading you.
Yeah, I don't do too much trading on my own account for being the founder and everything.
Wow, a 7x on CashCat. That means that's as it was breaking out at 10, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
very
They
cool.
sold early. Yeah.
They did, or you
Yeah.
did? So does it auto sell or just the buy?
It's just the buy. We don't have limit orders yet, but we're looking at Meteora and Jupiter maybe for like Solana right now. So
yeah, shout out Meteora, sponsors of the show. Really quick on this, because this is what FOMO's gotten a bad rap around, is that people are they're farming their users essentially is what happens. They crime stuff up, and then there's MCM on X who's trying to expose this racket with FOMO. Like, how do you limit that side of it? Because copy trading can be very powerful. I understand the value of it, but also can be parasitic. Cupsy is like synonymous. There's so many examples of this. I don't know if you have any thoughts there.
Yeah, well, so we don't have like literal copy trading. So it's like you can set an amount to buy when someone posts a thesis. So there can be abuse, maybe once or twice, but people catch on very quickly and they're like, okay, I'm not gonna copy buy you. So the other type of copy buying is more like, I'm gonna copy your wallet. So I don't know your intention. So if I'm copy buying someone and they're just posting garbage posts so they want to farm me, I'll like turn it off quickly. But if I'm just blindly copying someone's transactions, I don't know what they're doing. They could be farming me too. I don't know. Yeah, it's harder to figure out.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to touch on it, and maybe if you had a solution there. Sounds like you guys have thought about it. Cool, guys. Anything else that I'm missing, or are we good there?
I think we're good. Yeah.
Awesome.
Hop into the Telegram. It's on the GGX page, and try out GG. People are always sharing new early cap coins. You might find the next 100x.
There you go. And Rick, sorry, who's Netherlands playing? Is it Netherlands or Netherlands?
It's Belgium.
Belgium. Sorry, the Netherlands lost
Morocco,
and then we lost to Morocco. Canada lost to Morocco. So you're playing Spain. Okay.
Spain. It's gonna be tough.
What do you think you're gonna win? I know that kid beat the US. That kid was just like tap-ins.
I only know shitcoins. I don't know football.
Oh, all right. All right.
I'm gonna be honest, yeah.
All right. Enjoy the game, Rick.
That topic.
Enjoy the game.
Take care, guys.
See you, Rick. See you, Dave.
Right, thank you.
Bye, thank you.
All right, guys. That was actually those are cool guys. I saw gg.xyz on the timeline. I thought, oh, interesting. Man, I mean, trading has definitely evolved a lot. I do believe in this kind of, if you're snooping around X for alpha, you might be a layer too late. The alpha might be happening on trading products, might also be happening on streams like this. I mean, something like Adam mentioned that they had generated $30,000 in revenue in the first week of their product being live of permissionless launches. And we've had different ace round announcements and other stuff happen on here. So anyways, definitely interesting thoughts, and we'll cover it more. Guys, thank you for everyone who stuck around. About GG, unlike FOMO, you can connect with something else than Google accounts, personal wallet, X account. Oh, good. That's a good feature. Yeah. Monsieur Panch, thank you for dropping in. GM to the drag and GG Chads. Yeah, absolutely. Star might be a great fit for Ember's project. Yes, I definitely think, although they did have a live token. I don't know if Star does it. CPT news. Yo, Ave, let's actually check this. If you're still with me, Ave, give me a little thesis. Let's see. CPT. Impulsor. All right. Utility. The only, okay, interesting. So we have some token utility thoughts. All right, let's have a look. All right. Is there a way for me to vertical format myself in this? No. Oh, right here. Perfect. Okay, Impulsor utility. The only way to buy our consumer products will be via the token. Whoa. Okay. So I thought for a second they were releasing a black card here. I was a little, whatever. I don't know if I actually like this token utility, added friction. I mean, definitely probably added friction. Profit to buying back. Yeah, I mean, I think you're right here, Dom, whereas converting profit to buying back the amount of token. It's clean kind of buyback mechanism. But let's see what else we have. Additional token utility. Impulsor is launching a tiered membership ecosystem with 4 levers: Amber, Scarlet, Black, and Ambassador. Token holders will gain access to limited edition product drops, early releases, beta testing and opportunities, exclusive member benefits, plus CBD can be used to redeem select products through our new platform launching soon. Building a real-world utility ecosystem around autonomous and consumer technology. What is this? Costco? Costco for drones? Costco card? Costco membership card for drones, maybe? Interesting. Okay. All right, let's look at the chart. Man, I want to see drones, guys. I definitely want to see drones. I want to see drones flying. That's my vibe with CPT. I want to see drones in the air. All right, this is the chart. Pretty sideways for a long time. This got a really nice pump off of, I think Patrick was ill for some time, took some break. They said they would get a lot more active, as well as domiciling in the U.S. to work with U.S. defense primes, which a defense prime is anyone who has an existing government contract and relationship that sells money or sells products to the military. Definitely working on drones. I like to see it. Also not sure if the consumer product is really their bread and butter. Yeah, I mean, Impulsor is a cool brand, though. I will say they do have a really, really great brand. I mean, you can kind of think of like Kirkland, where Kirkland by Costco is just literally it's just a brand. They don't manufacture anything. They just contract out their brand, and obviously floor space at Costco. In this context, yeah, I mean, again, I want to see a drone for sale. I think I agree. Drones are their bread and butter, potentially defense, good angle. But they did have that PowerCast relationship, but I need to see products that I can go and buy. I think once that's on the website with some sort of proof that, hey, you can actually like get something interesting, I think it has potential. let's see, markets. I'm just kind of like, if anyone has anything interesting, please shoot it my way. Butting up against the 50-day moving average here, which always acts as a kind of resistance or support for any token that we look at. This is Jones Rida from Left Curve. Really likes this, 50 SMA. Looks like we're kind of going in to test that on ETH. Hype, it's acted as really nice support. You can see very clear there. Let's see Bitcoin. Bitcoin's under it. Solana broke above it, which is kind of interesting. We'll see if it can act as support here. And Solana needs to reclaim back in the hundreds, I think, for me to feel like pretty good that we're headed in a new market direction. This was our first interview, which was Duncan from Duncan Flood Capital doing Synapse. This is selling off. I think people are waiting for more markets here. I'll have to look if this is news and event driven, but people want to see markets. But this area, I mean, if they're successful in what, Duncan has described, I think this could be a really great, Dino altcoin pivot to on-chain options like that. This could be a really big play. On-chain options seem to scale really, really fast. I mean, I looked at, when I first looked at the SpaceX market that they had listed, the only place you can trade 0 days for SpaceX, they had the open interest was like $1,000. And with just their own capital, it's up to $360,000 in like a few days or a week. Same thing with SPY. I mean, it's now 18 grand. I want to say that was even 16K when we first looked at it. So no one's trading bot really. But if they list more markets, you get that long tail. Keep this on a watch list. So Sin, also MetaDAO founders. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to cover that in a minute. Let's see, ARBs. Oh man, I love this kind of bring back of the old tokens here. Arbitrum. Man, these guys have been cooking for a long time. A lot of this downwards pressure, Arbitrum had a very, in my opinion, a flawed DAO model where people could put up proposals, get ARB tokens as funding, and then go do different things. And the most notable example of this is they had a GameFi, Web3 gaming on the back side of that narrative. I think it was for like $30 million, some ridiculous amount of money, paid in ARB tokens, which were ultimately sold into the market. And I think GameFi delivered nothing for them. And so the token holders ate that cost, probably potentially nefarious DAO activities, similar to what we've seen with Bonk. And now you're at 9 cents. I mean, this thing was trading, in the $1 to $2. Let me see, 9 cents. This is definitely benefiting well off Robinhood. You can see it's coming into this 50-day resistance area. Maybe it breaks above. Let me get a valuation here for you guys on what ARB is valued at. Dom, yesterday I was listening to Dom, and he was mentioning that I want to say 10% of the platform fees from Robinhood go to Arbitrum, which is definitely could add up pretty quick. Circulating market cap 580 million. Seems cheap, given the catalyst here. Like if you told me one day Arbitrum would be working with Robinhood on a blockchain network with DeFi and bringing that to millions of users, you would definitely pique my interest. Let's check Uni. Uni, I think, is the most obvious benefactor from this Robinhood launch. We know that they, with the US regulatory clarity, the token has become more interesting in terms of revenue. This is still a dino. I think, wow, a lot of these look cheap. I mean, you could say it's been looking cheap for some time. Alarm. I mean, but this is broken above it. So we're seeing some of these altcoins again. Watch the 50 SMA broken above it. That's notable. Virtuals. Let's see virtuals. Okay, virtual a little ways from its 50-day. I like kind of these alts that are a little more, I haven't broken through them yet, as ones to keep an eye on. I mean, virtual's definitely having a moment. Not only they were having a moment on base, but it looks like they could be having a moment on Arbitrum as well. What is the valuation? 378 million on virtual, according to TradingView. Again, I think Robinhood is bringing back a lot of these tokens. Lit. These are all benefactors, by the way, from the Robinhood. So think of this as the Robinhood basket of tokens that I'm pulling up. ARB, Uni, Virtuals, Lit or Lighter. I was seeing somewhere they were on Bankless recently. So maybe Rob, I think it was Rob or David, did an interview with the Lighter team talking about, and I was listening to it as I was driving on vacation. I drove for like 22 hours, guys, to like northern Ontario, pretty far out there. But I listened to Bankless as I do. I would listen to MCG, but when I'm on MCG, so can't listen to your own stuff too much. But yeah, so this is the basket Lit, which is 600. I want to say it was 600 or 700 million. And they had like an 80% rev share, or buyback, think like Hyperliquid. And they built like a side, quote unquote, a side chain or a custom blockchain. They have engineers that are forward deployed with Robinhood, which means there's Lit engineers that are working at Robinhood that are deploying an instance of Lit on Robinhood chain. I'm sure you can go and figure out the economics there, what that passes back, but it allows buybacks for that. Wow, 100% buybacks for Dom mentions. Again, this is the Robinhood basket. I like the theme here. Let's see, syrup. This is maple. Oh man, I remember who was behind this. What was his name? I met him once actually at a crypto event. Seb. Oh, what was his name? I don't know, some guy with red hair, Australian guy. Nice dude. But Maple Finance, man, they've had some ups and downs. They had an exploit at one point, but again, Robinhood basket. Look at that bounce, guys. The 50 SMA. If you don't have the 50 SMA here, I'll show you my settings on this. So 50 on the close. I think it's EMA. Anyways, here you can see the length, time frame. I actually have it pinned to the daily. So sometimes on TradingView, you can do it a 50 SMA or EMA. Yes, this is SMA. You can do a 50 on it'll adjust whether you're looking at a minute, hour, daily, weekly, etc. I don't like that. Jones Ride, I think, had it pinned to the daily. And then when you look at lower time frames, it will just show you where it is above and below, but it doesn't readjust it. So it kind of, you always know where your support and resistance area. But look at that nice candle bounce off the 50 SMA. This actually looks good. I'd be keen. I think a lot of these partnerships are a little early to kind of see traction, but I'm sure we'll start to get announcements of, hey, we have this much TVL deposits coming from the Robinhood chain business. Let's look at Morpho. Actually, what's the valuation here? Okay, I don't see a valuation on TradingView. Yeah, I mean, Discord's cooking. We've had this in Discord. Again, Cash Cat, 150K from the legend Chill. And yeah, that's all happening on MCG Discord, which by the way, and I'll come back to the tickers in a minute here. But I'm going to go to where you can get to the Discord. Actually, it's capped, guys. It's capped. But just so you know, when we do have a new Discord drop and we're allowing people in right here, guys, it will be here. It's not here right now because I've toggled it off on Linktree, but you will find it on the MCG Live Linktree, as well as you can subscribe to YouTube. We have about 800 subscribers over there. We go live on the YouTube. So if you don't like watching the stream on X, you can watch it on YouTube. I've heard it is a better viewing experience by some, as well as Twitch. But I mean, you know, who uses Twitch? Back to the charts. I do like this area, 18 cents. I don't know what its value, but again, a lot of these tokens down 70, 80%, 90% from DeFi summer. Let's see what else. Morpho. I've been trading more of these larger caps though recently, and just doing spot, no leverage. Wow, Morpho looks great. Look at this pivot off the 50 SMA. That SMA, guys, 50 SMA, have this. Use this. This should be your only indicator. Don't look at stochastics or anything like that. Just all you need is a 50 SMA. If it goes below it as it's ran up, probably cheap. If it deviates from it, it may be a little overheated and you can sell it. Also acts as nice support and resistance. Yeah, 1K YouTube subs, and we never promote it. This is the YouTube right here, guys. 800 subs. We don't do short form anymore. We were doing short form, but this is where you can find recordings of all our content. So if you're trying to think of a video or a stream we had, like, you know, and go search our X to see when we had them on, and then you can come find it here. Don't use indicator, boys. Yeah, I look, I think, you know, don't get married to indicators. I'm going to say that, you know, trade your own stuff, use your own ideas. If you don't use indicators, that's fine, but I just think don't get married to it. But it's nice to have, you know, to kind of give you some guide and context to your charting. So I'm not opposed to it. And I've used them throughout my life. So, but again, use your own thing. All right. Any other Robinhood? I mean, is there Robinhood? Do we bring up meme coins on Robinhood? I mean, I definitely was in a few. This is the Vex one. Oh my gosh, this is pain. Holy shite. Man, I almost bought this. Where was it? It was on this pullback here. Somewhere around 400. I was doing DD on this. Oh, geez, 13 mil. Man, there's so much. Okay, look, Robinhood. Here's my experience trading Robinhood. There is a dichotomy of really early opportunity. No one's paying attention. Automation hasn't been set up. You can name the reasons why, but there's also a lot of scams. You got to be very, very careful in what you're buying. There's a lot of like anon deploys and bundled nonsense. Ave, I hold down the YouTube chat. Yeah, man, you do. And Ave, unfortunately, what you can't see is the X chat. We have a very vibrant X chat. Just doing technical analysis on fundamentally driven moves makes absolutely no sense. I definitely agree with that. Vex. I mean, guys, Vex. Chill. Were you in Vex? This 100% Vex was in our Discord, and it probably at multi 100Ks for sure. Spain about to play. Don't forget to pumpcade it. Yes, we actually do have a pumpcade referral setup. Really quick, I'm just gonna do any last Robinhood looks here. I trust the trending on Robinhood a little more than I do Solana deploys. Let's see, anything else trending? I almost don't want to show my recent searches because it's kind of embarrassing sometimes. Nah, I didn't get in. Did you DMGI? Yes, actually Duncan did earlier in the stream. This is DMGI blockchain, I believe. Yeah, we did review it earlier, 11 a.m. See stocks, DMG blockchain. That's what it is right here. Let's see. Let's look at the chart on this. This is another data center play. I mean, there's a lot. Maybe they're doing a neo cloud, removing their Bitcoin mining, 116 million market cap. I don't know. I mean, this is on Venture. So 116 CAD is like, 80, 75 million US. So, yeah, making the transition to focus on utility. Definitely think this is the play of Robinhood. There's like really green space opportunity. Famously, FOMO was late. I saw the post. He admitted that they were late. It was so obvious, guys, that Robinhood was going to be a big ecosystem. Probably comes back to Solana. Definitely at some point, people won't have left. A couple other tokens, that we've covered. JTX, I think, is getting close to launching. This might be a bit of a sell the news kind of situation where it's like there's been so much hype, but they don't have the JTX exchange built yet. But if there's any team that can execute, pull it off, and has the ability to get attention, definitely JTX. There was a mini narrative around like tokenized infrastructure. So like Wormhole, which is a big investor in Sunrise. I would put Pith in this kind of basket. So I actually got Pith on the NASDAQ news. Good trade at like 3.5 or 3.6 here. This has performed really well. I did get fudded out of my bag because they were deleting tweets about the NASDAQ. I'm like, guys, what are we doing? But they're pretty like long running, reputable, even out without the NASDAQ stuff. I think Pith probably undervalued. But there is, again, this Dino token utility season, kind of thing happening. So it started with Hyperliquid, and now it's going throughout, tokenized on-chain, securities like, Pith is part of that infrastructure, Wormhole, Robinhood utility, Robinhood memes, et cetera, et cetera. We were potentially going to have Start Off Fund do a new launch, so keep an eye on that. But other than that, I think I'm going to cap stream there. I'm just looking at anything else that's interesting. Oh, yes, I have to shout this out as well. This weekend, we actually, if you guys are learning to DLMM and provide liquidity on Meteora, highly recommend a workshop that's happening on Saturday. So let me quickly bring that up with the LP Army, because I've done a lot of trading, but I really, really, really like running DLIMs. It's just really more positive EV. You get the return from all the fees, but also you're not like buying. When you're buying, you're 100% exposed. But if you're providing liquidity, if you're doing bid side liquidity only, so providing SOL, you're getting filled, but you're not getting filled like crazy into it. And then if you are buying, let's say 50-50 of the tokens, you buy half the token and then provide half the liquidity in SOL. You can do a bunch of different strategies. So spot strategy to have your liquidity right in the money right away. You could do curve, which is most of the liquidity is in the money right where the current price is and then tapers down. Or bid ask, where the most liquidity is at the extremities and it's kind of small at the current price. So if the price goes down, you're getting filled more of it. But as the price goes up into your range, you're exiting it at higher and higher prices. So you don't feel like you're giving too much of the, the token liquidity at the current market price or too low of a market price. And then you can do combinations of both. So you could do a layer of spot and then, the bid ask. So we call it the bid ask spot strategy, or spot bid ask. And then there's also another strategy that I like, where if you claim your fees, so let's say you've been in a position for a few days, you have some nice amount of fees. What I like to do is claim my fees and then roll that liquidity in a curve strategy. So that new liquidity, fully based on fees, which is like compounding, is right at the current price, which is earning more fees when you roll it in. Anyways, all of that strategy is going to be here on the Luma. You can go sign up for it, and go get on this class. This class is happening 11 a.m. on Saturday for an hour and a half. Crash course, what LPing is, how the pools work, how the bins work, how to manage your risk, and how to get your first position live. If you've wanted to LP but haven't been sure how to do that, highly recommend going to our friends at LP Army and doing that. Of course, our show is sponsored by Meteora, so we're fans of their DLMM terminal, and yeah, that disclosure as well. But guys, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you for streaming with me. I am back now, and as you know, I was away on vacation, and yeah, a lot of exciting MCG updates to come. We have some product stuff that we're really cooking up and excited about, that we think is going to be more alpha, more signal, less noise, and is going to be a good advantage. He's back. Yes, he is. Although honestly, when I was up north on vacation, I was kind of trading on Robinhood Chain and doing when AI MCG tool. I think very soon. We've made significant progress. So I'll give you we launched MCG Signal like 3 weeks ago with Damon, and that was kind of an MVP of the product. And that was like a front end where MCG could upload like certain, information and content, and then it would parse out metadata from that. And we think there's value in that. There's like a lot of stuff set on the stream that we think is very valuable, but we want it to be real time. And I think that's the big unlock which you'll get with the new product is it'll be way more real time, and it'll almost be like you'll get the information before it gets anywhere else. And that I think is really cool for people who watch the stream and people who are fans of the community. Not all information is alpha, but there is some information that, when you use AI and you combine it with what the market is doing, you can definitely train the AI to give you the best signal. And so that's what we're going to do. And it will be hopefully soon. It's way better. Like when we release Signal, some guys got in touch with us saying, hey, we've been actually doing this with your streams for some time. Like we have a really good, elegant solution here. And then we've been iterating on it with them. So you will see more on this. I want to say by end of next week. Let's try for that. And then it's just kind of like give us feedback. We want to integrate it in the right way. But yeah, 1300 today again. Oh yeah, Pumpcade. Let's really quick. The game's about to start, or is already started. 2 minutes in. I'm gonna wrap here. Wow, France beat Morocco. Okay, I already knew that. The Pumpcade stuff, Dom, if you're still listening, Pumpcade. Let's get that call to action. Okay. Right here. Go sign up for this, guys. And thank you, A, for reminding me. Please, this also supports MCG, by the way. Supports our work, allows us to continue to do this, is if our partners see us providing referrals. So please use these rather than going around the referral system. We definitely really appreciate it. So here's the Pumpcade Cup. I'm going to tweet out our referral system. I have not set this up. Okay, I actually have. So no, I've done this. Man, let's look at this. So this is kind of like, if you guys have ever used like sports betting apps, this is very similar to one of those where they have like not the video feed because they probably don't have the license to the live stream, but they have like a real-time update with the avatars. You can see when kicks and stuff happen, so you can follow along in real time. Belgium, Spain, this looks like it. And probably this is a good way to get signups. I know there was $75,000. Let's look at the leaderboard. Here we go. Art of Trading 1, King Bro, Gucci X, Wrecked, your rank. Oh yeah, there we go. There's my rank. Let's see, predictions. It's cool UI. Wow, look at that. Look at that real time. Oh my goodness. This is all fake money, or I should say, like, not real money yet. But let's think about their token real quick. They have a whole business model around placing, high frequency trades on 1 minute markets. And you can see kind of the real time nature of this. This seems really bullish for Pumpgate. If they can dial this in, they can do what Polymarket is doing, but drastically increase the volume. And then all those markets just settled. Wow. In real time. This is very, 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 very interesting. I really like this. Okay, here, I'm going to tweet out the ref link real quick. So you guys can go to MCG and please, please, please use it. By all means, please use our referrals. It really, really helps us out. All right. Reviewing the at Pumpcade Belgium dash. Oh man, who's playing? Will there be a shot in the next minute? Very degenerate stuff. Let's see. Oh, Belgium, Spain. Yeah. Belgium S. A match now started. Unfortunately, even gambling can't make soccer interesting to me. You know what, Crypto Jones? I'm a big hockey guy. I play hockey. I love hockey. I also like baseball. Also play baseball. Like baseball, softball. I would say I'm older, so we don't play hardball. We play softball. But match now started, and we covered today on MCG. Use our ref. I'm just going to tweet this out first, guys, before I... Oh, my gosh. It gives me a shortened link. So, yeah, soccer. But I will say this World Cup, man, I've watched the games. It is ruthless. I used to thought these guys were a little soft. They someone stubs their toe and they're like rolling on the ground and stuff like that. And I used to clown on soccer my entire adult life. Like, yes, I played as a kid, but I'm like, oh man, soccer's soft. Like, you go watch hockey, especially the Canada-America game that happened like last February. Like, in the first 3 minutes was like 4 fights, and it was like just toothless Canadians versus toothless Americans beating the crap out of each other. Like, even people watching the NBA All-Star game stopped watching the NBA All-Star game, went and watched the Canada-US hockey game, because it was like violent, vicious. It was exciting. And then hockey itself, is very, very you're on skates, you're going fast. And that's a lot of hitting is a big part of it. Football is the same way. American football is extremely violent, but man, soccer is violent. Like, these guys are slide tackling, breaking each other's legs. I'm blown away by the amount of just absolute violence in soccer right now. And I don't condone violence, but man, I will say football, soccer football, has really, really impressed me. Really, 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 really impressed me. Okay, let's see. I'm pulling up our referral link from Pumpcade. Damn, we don't have this pinned. All right. Yo, Dom, nothing more entertaining than hockey. I agree, man. Crypto Jones, I'm with you. Are you like a Vancouver Canucks fan or something? Let's see. What is our Pumpcade ref link? All right, I'm trying to get that because it gives me a shortened version. So yeah, really, really like hockey number one. Nothing more entertaining than hockey. Diehard Leafs fan right here. You know, long-term Leafs fan. Looks like we're getting some moves. We got the first round pick, McKenna. So excited about that. But yeah, Crypto Jones is gonna say he's like a Calgary Flames fan or something like that, something whack like that. We'll see. We shall see. Okay, let me see if I can get our ref link. Hold on, guys. I am trying to get this off our profile and not where it's a shortened link. It's the actual link. Because when all right, here we go. Copy link address. I got to do this. Man, why does X do this, bro? Why does X do this? All right, here we go. I got it. So what X does is like you copy a link, but it like shortens it. Here's the actual link. Boom. Okay, reviewing the pumping now started, and we cover on MCG. Try with us. All right, get an emoji. There we go. Tag Pumpcade the ticker. Boom. All right. When do we get Kath from Pumpcade back on? She's a real gem. Yeah, really nice interview. It's funny because like Pump Fun has this like veil of secrecy. I don't think many people like know much about the actual people behind it. And so seeing Kath who worked there was obviously kind of interesting. All right, let's look at Pumpcade. Okay. I think this pumped for the last mark. Yeah, it's kind of pumping now. I mean, the thing here, Pumpcade, is they need to have a live product. Really, it's tough to value this, but I think what if anything, what this is giving you. Apologies if I'm lagging, guys. Hopefully, my voice is coming through okay. But if anything, the Cade Cup gives you is directionally some idea about what the user experience is like. And if you watch it here, the open match, it's very, very in your face, poppy, quick resolution, quick markets. And I think this will find really good product market fit. And I think they'll do tremendous volumes. So worth keeping an eye on Cade Elite or Pumpcade. At least we get a little kind of look under the hood of what the UI will be if there's something to take away from the K Cup, even if you don't sign up, which recommend you do use the MCG code. Worth keeping an eye on. All right, guys, I'm done for today. Good 4-hour stream, solo stream. And if you're in MCG Discord, pay attention. I think there's still a lot of interesting plays out there, both on Solana and Robinhood. If you're not in the Discord, follow the account, be active. I think we're only going to reward people who are part of MCG, retweeting our content, replying to things, being in chat, etc. We are thinking about a point system around the Discord, which is going to reward people who are part of our eco and who loyal to the stream. But yeah, hopefully we can find another 150K cash cat for you guys. That was wild. Crazy to see. I couldn't believe it. See Chill run that up to 4 mil and then to 200 mil is just mind blowing to me. But yeah, we'll cap it there. Hopefully Sin and Hypercall is a good buy here at 30 cents. Obviously I'm long Galaxy, in which we talked about. So disclosure there. I bought some Sin yesterday and just trading a little bit on Robinhood, feeling it out. Upshot has a great product. Have you checked it out? No, I didn't. I did see the stream yesterday. I'm not a big TCG guy personally. I think they're a TCG. I do have some cards on TCG collector TCG. They've gifted me some cards, so I'm going to kind of see what I have on there, if there's valued at all. I will know. I was with my cousins, my kids and my brother's kids up at the cottage. Everything is Pokemon, guys. Everything is. But you want the 6-year-old, 10-year-old perspective. Everything is Pokemon. They love Pokemon. So don't think that's going away. But these platforms are not aimed at the young people, but very, very, very relevant to the longevity of your investment is when the 10-year-olds keep talking about it. So, interesting. More of a prediction market. Look, I will put you guys on something. Not that SOAR is, I've not tried this product myself, but they are kind of building a prediction market for private companies. And you can trade startups. And I think they are live. Let's see. Here we go. This might be something to keep an eye on. So as you guys may have remembered, if you've been a fan of the show for some time, SOAR started as a like a launch pad for ICM tokens. And they had this like debt model, which ultimately didn't quite work out, probably in the way and tough market too that they had thought. But now they have pivoted to this kind of prediction market on private companies. And of course, Stripe is not a like live tradable company. I think you can own it through Square, I believe. But anyways, it's a private company, will Stripe be valued more than 160 billion? You can then bet on the odds of this happening or not. Really interesting model. The one challenge I think they'll have is just like what makes kind of prediction markets valuable is you have like the 5-minute Bitcoin markets or like the really quick pumpcade markets. If you have these really long duration markets, it's tough because you lock up capital. And even if you wanted to trade on, pre-IPO, I think we have pre-IPO stocks, but it's just, I don't know. It's a little tough. There are some like esoteric private companies I'm sure people would want to trade, but like, do you trade them in this way? Maybe. It's just also how long are you willing to wait in that trade? And, is this even directed to crypto people? I think it's probably not. I don't know, Crypto Jones some time. I mean, they were pretty recognizable. Our biggest stream to date, I believe, is still SOAR. When CPT launched and we met Patrick on stream for the first time, I think we had like 20,000 on or something. It was crazy. So they did get the recognition. It's just, we just went through a bear market at that point. But yeah, guys, my voice is cutting out. My water is almost done. I'll leave it there, guys, and appreciate y'all for watching. All 1,300 of you guys, have a good weekend. Be safe in the markets. Be safe on Robinhood chain. I think there's a little bit of grift there, so be very careful. But there's also really great opportunities, kind of blue ocean opportunities. If you're in the Discord, stay active. If you're not in the Discord, engage with MCG and DM us if you've been active, and maybe we can do one-off invites. But yes, see you guys. Cheers. Have a good weekend all. We'll pick up next week.